This is our town.
Welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 210 of Valley Town. I'm ChanmanV, and I'm happy to welcome Firebat back to the show. What's up, Firebat?
Not too much. Happy to be here. Been pretty pumped about the new expansion.
Yeah.
Got around to playing like a lot of Hearthstone. Did some casting. Got to number 3 legend.
Nice.
Been traveling a lot, doing Hearthstone stuff. So yeah, I think I've been more engaged with Hearthstone lately than I have been in the past 6 or 7 months. So pretty excited.
Wow. Okay, that's good. That's obviously great. Good signs of like the everything new that's coming up. And want to welcome Raven back to the show too. You weren't on long ago, so it's good to have you back for some awesome card review and talking about Grandmasters.
Yeah, I'm just happy Firebat's happy, to be honest. That makes Hearthstone happy for me.
Always better when Firebat's
honestly,
happy.
it's kind of weird. I've been the opposite of Firebat the past week or so. Although I've been watching a lot of Hearthstone, because the expansion's coming up, I've been jamming every single game I have that isn't Hearthstone to get it all out the way, because the next week, I'm just going to, I've just been playing all sorts of stuff. But next week is just going to be done.
I'm just trying to enjoy some of the old cards before they all are gone. So
I'm
I've been
sick
playing
of
a little
them.
bit. I'm sick of them. I don't blame you. I can't blame you at all. But today we got lots to talk about. Obviously, we didn't have a show last week just because I was just completely inundated with a lot of other stuff. So I apologize for that, guys. But because of that, we've got a lot to talk about. WSOE, Firebat just back from that. Thought we would touch on it, of course, because it was such a great event before, and it was another great event again this past weekend. And then Grandmasters, that was the big announcement last week. They always seem to announce things like literally right after we do the show. So that happened with Grandmaster last week. So we'll talk about, just touch on that a little bit, and then we'll get into the card review. And this is going to be like, we just look at all the cards for each class at once, and we're not going to go through one by one just because it would take forever. And so we'll talk about the just the general themes we see in the classes, and then we'll touch on obviously some of the very good cards or very interesting cards that we see, and it will kind of be a little bit free-formed that way. Q&A at the end, maybe 1 or 2 questions if we have any time, but this one should be a pretty lengthy one just based on card reviews. That's just how they always go. But yeah, so instead of starting with our week in Hearthstone, I think we know where Firebat was with WSOE, so I figured I'd bring that one up first, which was the return of Gia. And this was pretty different than the first WSOE event, which was more, just obviously a general tournament where everybody was starting in the same place. This one was more King of the Hill. But Firebat, what was your take on it? Like, did as a caster at the event, was this as good as the first one? Was it better? Like, how would you?
I thought it was a really cool event. It was very different from your average Hearthstone event. They kind of like to run the WSOE slightly differently than traditional Hearthstone. Like you said, it wasn't a standard tournament format. They kind of have they have what's called the competitors tournament, basically. So like day 1 for the players, so everyone except Gia kind of competed in a standard tournament group. And then the person that finished number 1 out of that group got to play against Gia on day 2. And then the person that finished number 2 in the group played against the person that finished number 3 and number 4 in 2 different show matches on day 2. And for either of those show matches, if they win the show match, they get $2,500. So it was kind of an interesting thing where day 1 was like placement day to figure out who was going to challenge Gia. And then day 2 was the actual challenge day. And then they had celebrity appearances with Zalay and Reynad coming out, also doing show matches. So it was a really cool event, and they try and emphasize the storyline a lot. I enjoyed it. Thought it was sweet. I wish the World Championship worked that way, so they would have flown me back, and I only had to play 1 match. That would have been nice.
Oh my god, that's the easiest GK ever for Gia.
Yeah.
Jeez.
She shows up, plays 1 game. She got an upgraded flight. She got champagne, a gift bag with AirPods and stuff.
In it? Oh man.
Yeah,
They treat her
so
like a queen, man. That was great.
they treat you like a champion, and then. But at the same time, she still had to do a lot of work, because then they filmed her in like 100 different B-roll segments and made like 3 music videos, and like they really do a lot of stuff for the stuff that's not happening in the game.
How hard is all that stuff? How hard is all that
Very
B-roll
hard.
stuff? Is it really?
It's very,
Is
yeah,
it really?
I mean,
Okay.
it's for me anyway. I'm not an actor. When I was doing that kind of stuff, is super unnatural, and she had to do a lot of it. And just in general, all of the people, commentators, players included at WSOE, do a lot of that stuff because the stream, instead of being like 90% gameplay, 10% other stuff, it's like 60% gameplay, 40% other stuff, which, you know, can be a little bit awkward if you're one of the people that's just like, all I care about is gameplay. But it creates a really cool final product if you stay through and watch the whole tournament, because you really emotionally connect to what's happening when you get to see the players more. So I like the approach. I understand it's not for everybody, and I'm glad that we get to see different varieties of tournaments. We can have the DreamHack that's all gameplay, and then we can have a tournament like this that's all storylines. And I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I think I can speak from experience. From even just, we spend a full day filming all the openings to HCT champs, for example, and filming stuff like that, especially when you've got to do multiple takes, you got to get it right. Stuff takes time. You got to try out this, try out that, and same with player media days, which I'm sure you'll agree with Firebat. They're actually exhausting, and people don't think they are. Just picture taken. It's like, no, they're actually exhausted. You get interviewed, you have to answer certain things, you have to do certain things, so on, so on. It feels like it never ends, actually. Right.
And for me, it's just the stop and go tires me out really quickly, right? So like you're sitting around doing nothing, and you're just chilling, relaxing, and then they're like, bam, be super excited for 3 minutes. All right, sit around for an hour. All right, super excited. Bam, sit around. And it's like the oscillation between those two mentalities is it really puts a strain on you. But
also Hearthstone casting.
That's pretty much.
Hours and then go on and be cool.
That's right. That's right.
And WSOE was like they wanted us to have like a wrestling kind of voice thing for some of the parts, which it wasn't me that had to do this, but Heatwave had to do this, who was the kind of main announcer guy. And so they were giving him notes, and they'd be like, we want you to sound kind of like how Bruce Buffer's sounding and be like super energetic and the wrestling thing, but also at the same time, very Hearthstone-y, keep it light, keep it innkeeper-y. And just like
how do you do that? It's impossible.
Well, he figured it out. It took him about an hour and a half of practicing with those directions. But sometimes people's visions can be hard to figure out. But wrestling announcer, Hearthstone innkeeper was the desired product. I think we got there.
Come and sit by the fire.
You know what cracked me up though about that? The opening of the show, right? Honestly, I've met Heatwave. I met him at one of the champs. The last one that had an audience in California. So I was chatting to him, but this show, it opened, and it's roll, right? It's just footage of the start of the tournament. So you don't see the caster desk, and it's like, and welcome, that whole voice. And I was like, okay, they're in Vegas as the intro. I get it. And then the camera comes onto the desk, and he's just carrying. And so I'm here with Firebat. We just keep going. Oh, I thought this was an intro. And it just kept going and going and going.
So
I was like,
it was a live
wow,
rhythm. That was
hilarious.
pretty good. I mean,
it was like a ring announcer that also then just steps to the side and commentates the boxing in that way. It didn't stop. It was so funny. I loved it. But so I do think WSOE production is up there. And the stuff you were saying about developing storylines, Firebat, is very good. And I want to see a nice mix now this year, especially because the format's pretty easy to run and short, of more like a mixture of these things. Like last year was all hardcore tour stops, boom, 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 super long tournaments. Now we see what WSOE can do, and say tournaments kind of like Seat Story, I guess, of the past. Is that I just want to mix. Because I don't think doing WSOE every 2 weeks is good. I don't think that's going to work either. But I think dot them in. Give me a long 4-day Swiss tournament, then drop me in some highlight special show that's just weird. Then show me something else. I think that's the important balance factor, I guess.
Right, and it just makes sense. That's how it's always been. In like if you turn on the TV right now, you're not just going to only see Law and Order on every single TV show channel. There's variety and there's other things to watch. And I think Hearthstone should be the same. It shouldn't be the same product every time. And that's why I think what WSOE is doing is great. They're producing something different.
Just wish they had a studio in Europe. They don't invite us lowly Europeans.
So I'll be honest, as a spectator to WSOE, I agree that we don't want to see this probably every week or every 2 weeks, but for sure the World Championship, they need to step up to that level, because the production level of WSOE is top notch. It could be the best in Hearthstone right now. And it's all the little things. It's all the B-roll. It's even how they plug stuff. They even plug stuff well, like on WSOE. So it's all the little things that I think
I
that
will
have
say,
made for
one gripe, and I heard people on Twitter saying this was good, and it is not. Caster cams on whilst the game is being casted.
It's a whole nother level of
terrible
idea.
It's terrible idea.
It's kind of cool.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of
better.
neat.
It's very difficult as a caster though, because normally when I'm like on the caster cam, I'm sitting up straight, I'm like this, focused on the. And then when the caster cam's off, I'm like leaning forward, writing notes, looking at things. I'm not professional looking at all for camera.
I'm just worried because you'd see all the weird look Sol gives me when I cast with him. He's always like. But honestly, I will say and this is personal to me because it's my job and I don't want to be on camera 100% of the time on a broadcast. But I do think that the sort of blooper reels HCT make at the end of the show of like caster moments is a much better way to do that than just be like, by the way, you're never off camera. And you're like, oh god.
Well, they told us. They told us at WSOE, they're like, you're on camera 100% of the time, and we even had a B-roll piece of Lauren Jabara, who's one of the announcers there, and it was just she didn't realize it, but she like does a dance every time occasionally when things go well, and that was just getting recorded the whole time. And then day 2, there was like a 3-minute B-roll of her just doing different dances around the studio that she didn't know was happening. But at WSOE, you're on camera 100% of the time.
There was at one point. Go ahead, Raven.
I was just gonna say HCT. We know production see every single thing we do, regardless of what it is. But it's the nice that someone's there to edit certain things out, whereas live on camera all of the time is very, very scary as a caster.
Just get better at your job, Raven. You should be professional 100% of the time.
You teach me, Firebat. You teach me.
At one point,
very difficult.
At one point, Dan and Lauren, it was like between a break. It was like a long break too. But at one point, Dan and Lauren were standing, and they had like an overhead view of them, and they were like standing, looking like they were about to go live. Like they were all ready, and they would like pause a second. They wouldn't talk to each other. And then all of a sudden they would start talking to each other like as if nothing's going to happen. Then they started talking like really serious again. I'm like, they're going to go live or not? I sat there watching that for like 5 minutes for some dumb reason, but it was pretty funny for whatever reason. But one thing I have to say that I'm so glad that they did, with the show matches, is that they did open mics. They actually had the players talk, and we did that a long time ago. If you don't remember that, like when we did the show matches. I'm so glad somebody's actually doing it, just like on a higher level, because it works. Like I think watching Amnesiac, and I think it works. If you have the right people doing it,
works when you have Amnesiac versus someone or
Rain.
It doesn't work when you have Blood Trail versus Hunter Ace. That's the problem.
You're not going to get those guys to do that.
No, but all I'm saying is like. That's the problem with just having mics.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like in super high competitive, like the World Championships or anything like that. But the concept.
I think mics would be cool in the World Championship. I think that'd play to my skill set and give me a little bit of an advantage over some of the players.
Okay.
But
there you go. No,
maybe con some information out of them or something.
That's what Amnesia. It was so funny because Saiyan was initiating in the beginning, but then towards the end, I could tell he was distracted by it because the music just ended up, taking advantage of that. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, Saiyan misplayed a little bit during that series for sure. Yeah. He was trying to play the Mecha'thun Warlock and then accidentally just died to Uther.
Right. But overall, if you guys didn't watch it, definitely go check it out. WSOE, the VODs over on their channel. Spoilers. Gia ended up winning again, but it was a tight series. I mean, there was definitely some very exciting matches during, I think that series, and then there was one other one that, which one was it? I think it was Patra and Patra was in the finals, by the way, and then Patra and was it Korra? I can't remember who it was, but there was a couple really close series that had some really cool matchups. So definitely check it out if you guys get a chance. But keep it, definitely keep it up. WSOE, it's definitely been one of the really great recent things. I think that's happened in the Hearthstone community. All right, so Grandmaster Announcement. All right, so we finally got the specifics. They had like kind of an announcement back in I think December. I think it was the end of December, or was it the beginning of January? Somewhere around there. So, and they released some information on the whole new Grandmaster system. They took a bunch of feedback from players and whatnot between then and then when they finally announced it a week and a half ago. And so we have the specifics. It's basically going to be it's kind of like a league of like 16 players from each region, and they'll be playing matches against each other, and it's going to be broadcasted for 8 weeks, I believe. And how it works is, actually, Firebat, you were explaining it to me earlier. I didn't even actually realize it. There'll be 2 seasons. The first season, at least in the first year, the 16 players will go through that, and then nobody will be relegated in the first season though. And then the top 2 will move on to qualify for the World Championships at the end of the year. And then the second season, and this is only for the first year, guys. Second season, they'll do the same thing with the 8 weeks. And then 2 people will get relegated. The bottom 2 people will be up for relegation, right? Not necessarily kicked out, but definitely up for relegation. And then again, just people qualify for the World Championships again. So what we do know is that there's 16 from each region, and then there's 2 that potentially get relegated, at least moving forward, going into 2020 and things like that. So want to ask your opinions on that first. So do you think 16 players is enough players to be in this top tier pro, it's like the pro league, getting into that very coveted distinction?
Well, it's more than 16, right? Because it's 16 from each region.
Yeah,
so
16
times 4. Yeah. So 48.
Or 64, yeah.
Or 64, yeah. And it starts to become a lot of people when you look at it like that.
16 times 3, because China is kind of doing its own thing, right?
They still exist. They're still people, Raven.
No, but I mean,
just because they have a different tournament format doesn't mean they're not real.
Okay, so 48 doing the same thing.
China is not the same format, is all I'm saying, Firebat. Don't try and cause trouble. That's all. But
I still think 64 is plenty for enough people to try and follow. Like, very few people, I think, are actually going to be able to follow all 64 peoples, let alone if someone wants to follow the scene but just not follow China, they'll still have a hard time following every single player. So I think if anything, it's maybe too many players. They might be too ambitious with the size of it for the first league.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's huge to start off with. It. The main purpose is to create storylines and have people be able to follow their favorite players through the league. And so, keeping it a nice smaller amount is good. But no complaints.
I think what's more likely is, though, that viewers will have a few players, maybe across all regions, that they want to follow. So, they like, I like these 2 players in Europe League. I want to follow this guy from APAC because just, I know this player from whatever, say Tom, for example, if he's there. I'll follow the previous world champion and see how he's doing. So I actually think being able to cherry pick across leagues and having a selection of players is actually going to be pretty cool to follow. And also as well, just because the format's best of 3, you can just sit and probably be able to crack, just watch a few matches in your spare time and not be a big deal if you need to catch up on stuff. I think it'll be relatively quick.
Yeah, they're going to be fast, man.
You're not watching like 2-hour series, probably. Yeah. I'm going to say
right.
Well, there's going to be the potential for some really long series. Generally people of Grandmaster caliber rope like no tomorrow. So.
There's only 3 games at max, though. So
but what if it's specialist format warrior versus warrior?
Then someone will bring a deck that destroys warrior, and you'll see that matchup once and then never again. Done. Solved. Next.
I don't know. If it was these recent ones, it'd be hunter versus hunter like all day long, right? So
and that goes pretty quick. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's true. The hunter. That's very, very true. But yeah, so that's kind of interesting. You think it might be even too much, because I definitely was veering more towards it's too little, but I was thinking of it more from the standpoint of players. Like obviously a lot of people complained just because, a lot of players now will not have a real chance to participate, in what was before HCT, or just at least this competitive pro, element of Hearthstone. And that's just the nature of it. There's got to be, I think that making this decision for me is generally a good one. Like having this new.
This is the most rewarding and most opportunities that there's ever been for someone to be competitive in Hearthstone. Previously, when it comes to like HCT sort of stuff, if you won a bunch of tournaments, what did you get? You got a one of chance to maybe win Worlds. And now if you win a bunch of tournaments, you get into the Grandmaster system and you get to play an entire league and build a brand and get your name out there over lots of exposure over 16 weeks. So I think this is way better for the players than just, hey, good luck at this one tournament. When I started playing in 2014, the only way to qualify for Worlds was through ladder points. And the top 16, or no, it was the top 32 went in a single eliminate, or went in a Swiss tournament, and you had to get 7-1 in this Swiss tournament, and then you would go to be able to play in New York in an 8-man tournament, and then 2 people from the 8-man tournament went to Worlds. Yeah. And if you lost that, you were done. Pretty much everyone that was involved in that process, except me and Strife Crow from Americas, don't really play. I guess Ant plays Hearthstone, so there's a few of us that are sticking around, but a lot of them just didn't turn it into anything, that opportunity after that, and that's a shame.
I think the biggest thing, right, is as an example, you can get to a seasonal, this past year, you can get to a seasonal championship, not make the cut, as in not qualify to Worlds, and then you're kind of back to square one, to be completely honest.
Right.
I think that, and this is this year, this past year, I think the deal is, yes, we don't have 50,000 pro players of Hearthstone, per region, fine.
Yeah.
But if you do make it, you've made it. You've actually made it. There's something at the end of the rainbow, isn't there? You know what I mean? As opposed to, you won a big tournament, great. But if you don't do it again and again and again and again, no one cares, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. Whereas now, you qualify into the league, you're in the pro league that is broadcasted week in, week out for 16, however many weeks a year. You paid to be in it, more than certainly. You know what I mean? There are so many benefits. You're literally going to be promoted by Blizzard every single week.
The promotion is huge.
Yeah, you're a pro player. You made it.
Promotion is huge, and I think it just from a general structure. And I've been like wanting this structure for years, like ever since I started HCT. I felt like there needs to be a distinction as to what a pro Hearthstone player is, and this whole storyline about anybody can win Hearthstone any year is like the worst thing to structure your competitive league around. And so I know a lot because they've done it over the past. There are a bunch of part-time players and stuff that have gotten used to this, and they're going to be super unhappy about all of this. But it's just a necessary evil. Like, you have to do this for the betterment of just competitive Hearthstone. And I think you're right. I think that having a goal now, the goal is like very, very clear, and then having just all the rewards, you reap all the benefits of being in it, is very clear now. Sponsors
the only thing they need to add now is they need more steps involved in this staircase. Because right now there's the ground, and then there's the third story, and then, there's like an open cup in there,
right.
And that's about it.
And a very rickety-looking ladder.
That's true.
They
still need to work on that.
It's a great framework, and now we just need to fill in the steps. And once that gets more defined, and maybe there's like a league that feeds into it, or something like that, I think it can be a lot better. But I think it's a really amazing start. It's leaps and bounds better than the previous systems that we've had.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All the players that I would say semi-pro to pro, not quite there. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got to sit them back and say, obviously it's unfortunate if they feel that way, but were they actually making a living playing Hearthstone? Mm-hmm. Well, probably not, most of them, right? You probably couldn't just live for the rest of your life doing what they were doing, right? So, like, if they have a chance to get into the league, whereas they can suddenly actually just make a full living, don't have to have a different job, focus on this full time, then that's what's just way more valuable, even though it's for small portion of players. Yeah, but like you said, it has to cut somewhere, right?
Well, the people that devote their full time to it, the people that devote full time to it should, I feel like they should have a better chance of getting, into things like this versus somebody who does play part time, after work or whatnot. But what do you guys think about the relegation? Is 2 spots enough out of 16?
It's 2 for the first year, because the first 3-month season has no relegation. But then every year after that is 4. So
2 per season, right?
2 per season happens in the future. Currently, for the first season, there's no relegation. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I guess maybe they just need this.
Yeah, I think 4 is good. I think 4 works, but
I actually think as well,
it feels weird, but 4 I think is fine. Yeah.
I think when you think about it as well is, and it might sound a little bit silly, but because of the way Blizzard just quite frankly had to decide who's in this league of each one, I think the first season not having any is kind of reasonable, because you, like we were saying, if you made the cut, you deserve to have like actually made it properly. Whereas if you're in the first one, then you're just out straight away. Then you go through it all again. If you were good enough to make the initial pick, then maybe having the first season, just let everything settle, let everything, see how it works, get everyone involved. Then the second season is like, right, you're on your own. This is just how it is now, and you get relegated if you get relegated. So I think like at least for the initial squad, you imagine that there's been leaked lists and stuff of players, etc. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but you would imagine they're going to invite a very high world-class caliber of player, because why wouldn't they? It would be more weird if they didn't. And if that's the case, then they deserve to like have a decent chance at this league and at this pro Hearthstone. So we'll see how it shakes out. But I think it's okay, actually. I don't want a revolving door of players, because that's what we've had every year in Hearthstone so far.
We don't want
it. Learn this new set of players you've never heard of. Could anyone name Hunter Ace? Could anyone even name Casey? Or even there are plenty of players that are classed as world class right now. Viper, the people wouldn't have even known who they were a couple of years ago.
Still don't know. There's a lot of people that still don't know those guys. So. Right. But yeah, I mean, I think that not speaking. I'm not going to talk about the players themselves, but I think this first year is really a key year. Like, you have to kick the league off in a big way. So
yes,
I think that there's going to be a lot of debate as to who should be in these first 16 or not. But for me, it is important. And speaking more from the standpoint of just like the overall success of the league long term, is you got to get traction. You got to get people watching like pro Hearthstone more than it is right now. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that picking select players, I mean, that's going to definitely play a role into how they're doing that. And it's smart. I actually don't disagree. There's no perfect way to do it, but if you're going to choose one thing that's going to be for the overall betterment of the league long term, it's going to be doing that. Don't go overboard. Don't have Crip in it.
Like, do people want to be able to complain about Hearthstone in 3 years' time?
Yeah.
If you do, then this is a good thing. If you still want to be there and Hearthstone exists to complain about, then something like this is going to help esports. If not this year, in the long run.
Yeah.
It's how you build a foundation of a game to be successful. I'm just glad I'm not the one picking the players, because I would struggle. Fair play to the people who've done that. It's a horrible job. Because how the hell do you pick 16 players when there are so many good ones, especially in, for example, a region like Europe that just has more players? It's like, how do you even pick? It's very, very difficult. But I think overall the format's going to be pretty cool. It's different. It's interesting. Rotation looks cool. I'm just hyped. So I'm good.
Definitely happy. The first time I felt like I'm like, all right, we're finally on the right track. Finally.
You've ever felt happy?
No, I didn't say that. Okay, well, as appetizer, let's get into the card review. I know a lot of people are just kind of waiting for that right now. So we had a big final card review or reveal with Kibler and Ixar and Chris as well. So they went over another 20 cards, but we're obviously pretty far behind here in terms of reviewing cards. So we're just going to look at all of them, at once. Good thing that Hearthstone is really good about updating the cards really quickly on their site. So we have the luxury of being able to look at it that way. But I figure we would, start at Druid, kind of go through each of the classes, and then once we get to neutral, it'll be a little bit more probably talking about specific cards that we think are cool. But all right, so let's start with Druid here. And, Druid, what do you guys think the theme is for Druid? Because I feel like one thing I've noticed about the expansion, and by the way, I'm super excited about the expansion. I feel like the themes have been really strong, like for each of the classes and what they're trying to, maybe not even mold, but really focus like specific themes on for for the classes. I remember Ixar was on the show maybe a few months ago, and he mentioned that was one thing that was really important to them moving forward. So in terms of the Druid, what do you guys think? Anything specific stick out to you guys in terms of what the new Druid's gonna look like?
Token cards seem like they're pretty all right, and especially the heal sort of theme within it, some sort of heal token where you're able to cheat out the 2 copies of the 4/4s for 5 mana if you field 5.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, the Crystal Stag seems like it could be a pretty solid card, and then the card to the right of it, just being able to buff everything, go wide, attack with that, is a pretty strong theme. And then just general taunt stuff. There might be some sort of healing taunt control druid, because the new legendary in druid is pretty sweet. If you're able to play that against an aggressive deck and it doesn't get silenced, then you're able to just bring it back to life after they plow through it by healing yourself. And if that isn't a way to shut out an aggro deck, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, and also you see things like, you start to think about cards like Faceless Manipulator on a card like that, and you're like, oh.
Forbiddeness Floop.
Yeah, great point, actually.
That's another good one.
Right now, as you've got the card in the top left, I think, I'm just going to call Twin Spell strongest mechanic since Discover, and one we're probably going to see for a while, because Twin Spell is going to be nutty. It's insane. You get to play a 30, if you just run one, you get to play like a 31 card deck, except you don't have to draw that 31st card. Like it's so much more value. And we saw it in the stream where it was, I believe, we'll get to Mage, but I'm pretty sure it was Ray of Frost. One mana.
Yeah, that card's cool.
Spell freeze a minion, or if it's frozen, deal 2. Just 1 mana freeze a minion, and then you get to 1 mana freeze a minion again whenever you want.
Yeah.
You guys have heard of Glacial Shard, right? So imagine that as a spell in Mage. Like Twin Spell's just, even this one, the Blessing of Ancients for the tokens, 3 mana +1/+1 to all your dudes, and that's Twin Spell. Like and then you just do it again, or even threatening again is huge to your opponent. Your opponent knows you've got it, and it's just like they then have to play around it because you've got it, but it's not a big deal to you. You've already cast it once. It's just nutty. Twin Spell's going to be huge.
Yeah, I really like how they've, especially in Druid, like you mentioned Twin Spell, the way they've implemented, just card value, right? And that's not just straight up draw cards and things like that. It's Twin Spell and even just the Keeper Steladris or whatever, right? This is the one where it's a 2-drop, and when you cast a choose one spell, you get copies of both cards, which actually means that Wrath and things actually have cards now associated with each of the abilities. And watching that on stream today, it was like, wow, the Druid's got like 8 cards, and it's like turn 3 or turn 4 or something like that.
It's so
super
sick.
Cool. Yeah, super cool. That
even Dreamway Guardians as well might be absolutely savage.
Is that the best 2-drop?
Seems good.
This card seems like one of the best 2-drops.
Yeah, it's a 2 mana 2/4 worth of stats, and it's divided among 2 bodies, which is beneficial.
And they've got lifesteal.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's insane.
And the lifesteal works really well with buffs, and Druid has buffs, so it's like and they have the whole heal Druid thing. The only issue with the heal Druid is Druids don't have a way to kill themselves, so they can't heal above 30, and they might not be able to heal 5 health at the timing if they want to. With
I guess maybe you'd think of things like Pounce and that to just hero power stuff.
Yeah,
because one, it frees up space for your minions to attack face, and you want to be damaging yourself, right? So
but sometimes there's decks that don't play any minions for a really long time.
That's true.
And then you got nothing to pounce, and then you're sitting here like, well, I can't heal anything because my opponent's just priest or something, and they're not playing anything.
Yeah. So if you're thinking like, just generally speaking, finishing, basically what is it only going to be token Druid that you think that's going to be a winning condition for Druid, or is it going to be like Mecha'thun potentially? I mean, what do you see here when it's just heal and tokens?
Well, Druid lost a lot of card draw.
Yeah.
So combo, I think, is kind of out the window, and they're more of going towards tempo related stuff. I think it's going to be tokeny Savage Roar kind of win condition for the most part with Druid.
I kind of wonder if a card, along the lines of, let's just say Forest Aid with Twin Spell, right, is like running those plus Savage Roar and then just building a Druid deck. Like, is that ever, like Druid of old? Is that just enough? Is Savage Roar just a good enough card? Is that with four Forest Aids? Is that just enough stuff to keep try and make something stick if you have other cards around it? I don't know, but maybe it doesn't have to be full token all the time. It could just be good cards with a potential of token push. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't predict Druid being super strong. It seems okay. I think there's gonna be too many situations where the heal stuff is too hard to pull off by turn 5, and then they don't got a lot of card draw in their class, and Savage Roar as your only sort of win condition seems sketchy. But Token Druid's found a way before, so it wouldn't surprise me too much. I think the card I'm most excited for is Blessing of the Ancients for that Token Druid sort of stuff.
Yeah, Blessing of the Ancients, which is, by the way, it's a 3-mana common spell, twin spell, give the minions +1/+1. So it's like another Savage Roar. I mean, it's a little bit more expensive for what you get, but you get some help. It's permanent, right? It's not
special mention as well, just to Crystal Song Portal, just because it's a weird card, but you just never know. A card like that's that kind of power level, you just don't know, I think, whether it's going to be good, because are you going to run out of cards? If you do, 2 mana, draw 3 cards is pretty good.
Draw 3 Druid minions, not just cards.
Sure. Yeah.
So, it can be probably pretty
gas,
good.
Right?
Yeah, it's a lot of gas. So, like, you can build some of these, like, super low to the ground Druid decks and then just put that in there, and you probably have gas to go to the end game.
Yeah, I mean,
it's an interesting card, that's all.
Yeah, it's kind of like Divine Favor in a way, right? If you played some crazy aggressive. But that's what I was trying to say. Like, in terms of card value with the Druid, it's not draw cards you have in your deck. It's more just get cards. But that could be really powerful, just depending on what you get. So, okay, well, that's Druid. Well, let's move on to Hunter here. That was fast. I guess there's not that much to talk about Druid. Maybe that's why. Hunter, okay, so with Hunter, let's see, theme-wise, what do you guys think? I mean, there's definitely some mech stuff thrown in here, which was very surprising to me. And then obviously still some death rattle and beast stuff as well. But any theme you guys feel from Hunter? This one's not strong. I think for
powerful spells that generate a lot of value. I think they're pushing the Hunter Hero card a lot with some of these cards. So, you can go Zul'jin and bring the big axe, making Unleash the Beast happen. If you've played it like twice and get 2 5/5s the rush, for example. So like they have like a bunch of okay-ish cards, but then you're like, well, if I play these and I'm in a decent spot and then I play Zul'jin, I just win the game because I get a bunch of 5/5s, I deal 4 damage to something, I get a bunch of random spells, So I think Zul'jin is getting pushed kind of a lot.
Yeah, I am
pretty good.
Initially, I had some thoughts about Varisa. In terms of how powerful the win condition is of a weapon. And now they did Rapid Fire, which is effectively 4 1-mana deal 1 damage, which the extra spell damage is a lot of damage plus kill commands plus arcane shots. Like, that's just a lot of stuff. And then another side of me, it hurt me when I saw Oblivitron, because I hate I hate most Hunter legendaries because they always like to suck. But I'm thinking, right? Oblivitron, 9 lives, Ursatron, and then you just have Mecha'thun and Ziliax in the deck, and then the rest is just Hunter cards.
Yeah, and Oblivitron, by the way, 6 mana, 3/4 mech, death rattle, summon a mech from your hand and trigger its death rattle too, which is like, very interesting.
And then it works with 9 lives as well. You can go Oblivitron, and then the Beartron, and then 9 lives, and then it's just a card draw engine.
And before anyone laughs at me, I am not saying use Mecha'thun to proc its ability.
No,
it's a 10/10. Just keep summoning 10/10s on the board. Look, discover a friendly death rattle that died this game. Well, if you get if you draw Mecha'thun from Ursatron, Oblivitron cheats it out, and then you just keep summoning 10/10s every turn. I don't know. Like, it seems like it could just be one of those weird decks that works because you could play just those mechs and then a Hunter deck behind it. And Ziliax is good. Mecha'thun's kind of a dud, but a 3-mana 3/3 that draws a card on Death Rattle and a specific card, that's just not that bad, actually. If you have 2 of those, you can draw Oblivitron and Mecha'thun specifically, do the combo, and then start 9 lives in them. Like, that's a small package when the rest of it's got Hunter behind it. Like, maybe that's just okay. I don't know. It's weird, but maybe it works.
So you're telling me Death Rattle Hunter is probably going to be something, but it's just a very different Death Rattle Hunter.
Yeah, it's just going to be mech Death Rattle, but you don't play any other mechs apart from Oblivitron, Mecha'thun, and probably just because it's so good, Ziliax.
Yeah, and you can do other combo stuff like you're saying with the spell power stuff, using 9 lives and like loot hoarders and Thalnos
9 lives
to
is
like.
So good. This is
9 lives is sweet. It's a lot of card draw. We have card draw and Hunter now, which is spooky.
Yeah.
So you can draw a bunch of cards and then finish with burn plus Farisa and rapid fire.
Yeah, I think this is the best card for Hunter in this set. It's crazy good. Oh, by the way, the weapon for Varisa, if you guys don't know what Thorndal is, let me bring it up real quick just so you guys might understand the reference there. Yeah, well, Thorndal's a 3 mana weapon, but you're obviously going to be equipping it. Yeah, so it's a 2 attack, 3 durability. After your hero attacks, gain the spell damage +2 this turn. So that's pretty useful if you got some of those direct damage spells.
And what's funny as well is, like, I was looking at this kind of deck before I saw Rapid Fire, right? And Rapid Fire is just insane. Again, twin spells, so you get 4 1-mana deal 1 spells. But also as well, the weapon does 6 over 3 turns. Like, that's a reasonable amount of damage in itself for an equipped weapon. It's extra damage to add to this like burst when you've got cards like Baited Arrow, Kill Command. All of these things can go face, right? It's actually, you start to look at all the damage you can get, and especially if you do what Firebat mentioned with like Loot Hoarders to use 9 lives to keep drawing cards. Yeah, maybe that just gets there as well. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Trackings, like you just kill him. OTK Hunter Inc.
Yeah. Copy all beasts in your hand. Hunting Party.
That's just a weird card.
Yeah, that is a weird card.
Yeah, I don't know if Hunting Party is going to be good.
Okay, well, that's Hunter. Hunter, definitely it's going to take a step back. You're obviously losing a bunch of things with this reset or whatnot, but I still think it's in a decent spot for sure.
Yeah, they still have Springbaw and Scavenging Hyena, so they'll be fine.
And Master's Call.
That's right.
Yeah, they have Master's Call. Mid-range Hunter will still exist.
Yeah, they got the whole kit still.
Oh God, let's hope we don't continue seeing Hunterstone.
They lose Candle Shot, but they have the axe. It doesn't matter.
Okay, let's talk about some class that got a lot of new stuff, which was the Mage. Yeah, the Mage cards are actually pretty sweet.
So Caligos, absurd.
Yeah, I know. Oh my God, 10 mana, 4/12 dragon. It's first
like Death Knight level power.
Yeah, and I mean your first spell is 0. And then you discover a spell, so you're guaranteed to have a chance to cast something. So, what do you guys think? Like power creation with that kind of stuff, or
I
Mage
think
looks good.
This one specific card, because it's so good, will make people have to run an answer to this card in their deck. Because you just lose if you can't kill it, right? You just or win, obviously, but you just lose. Like if you can't kill it, they get a free spell every turn. And the first one they discover anyway. So it's like, Mage have spells that kill you, like, and they cost 0 mana. You can just... I honestly think with Caligos and a few of the other cards, like, Freeze Mage is just coming back. Like, you're going to get OTK'd. Like, it feels really powerful.
Well, I don't know about OTK'd, but I definitely think you can get a lot of tempo and a lot of value. Yeah. Just playing like a controlling kind of mage with Caligos, and then you just play like Khadgar and then maybe Power of Creation, and then you kind of just like slow the game down and eventually go Khadgar and Power of Creation in the same turn, get 4/6 traps, you win, kind of thing.
God, that's disgusting.
You play Caligos, it lives because it probably just doesn't die, and then you just Khadgar and Conjurer's Calling on the Caligos to get like 4/10
more Caligoses.
It doesn't copy the same minion. It's the cost.
Oh, okay.
But you'll get 4 10-drops.
I mean, it's insane. It's
so funny.
Conjurer's Calling is a 3-mana spell, twin spell, destroy a minion, summon 2 minions of the same cost to replace it. So
I thought it was the 2 same minions. I was like, you can just 30 someone with Leroy with this thing.
It's interesting. Like, obviously if you had, I don't know, maybe an egg would be, or like, what are some common targets you think would be for something like this?
Eggs sound pretty good. Just anything when you have Khadgar on the field, I think is the main draw with the card.
Yeah.
Because if you have Khadgar on the field, it works.
Yeah.
Eggs? Did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few eggs still.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the 0/3 rotates though.
The 0/3
rotates.
Yeah, the
0/3 rotates. I'm just saying, just like the general concept of an egg, right?
There's
like small.
There's the 2 mana. It's Scarab egg still, so that could work.
I don't know about that, but yeah, there's still the concept of something small.
But yeah, Mage looks like it got like a lot of powerful cards in a lot of places. Khadgar's insane. I think Power of Creation has potential. Dart Frog's insane. Mana Cyclone's passable. Ray of Frost is insane.
Insane, yeah.
Magic Trick is like not horrible. It's all right. You could play it with your Sorcerer's Apprentice and probably play 2 spells for 0 mana alongside it. So that's pretty nutty.
It sounds like you can go either, more of this tempo that we've been talking about with, obviously running the Caligos, or you can do this crazy cheap spell, kind of like what we saw on stream today with, dart frogs and just all kinds of craziness, and
Vex Crow,
right?
Yeah.
And even this thing is really interesting. The Kirin, the Tricaster, this is a pretty interesting card. It spell damage +3 and your spells cost 1 more to kind of make up for that spell damage. So I don't know,
you shooting star with that, just blow up an entire board.
Yeah, totally.
And then the Raven thing is actually really strong because there's not so many mage minions, so you can usually get one of these crazy powerful ones.
I was going to say, though, as well, because you think of the legendaries, Khadgar, Kaligos, Antonidas, Luna, they have some pretty good legendaries made right now, damn.
And Antonidas with like Ray of Frost is broken.
I think Antonidas is back, for sure. Yeah. Crazy.
Mage looks pretty nutty.
Also, as well, it's like Magic Trick, because it's 3 or less, is actually pretty sick, right? Because Nova's still in the pool.
Wow, you're going to get a secret, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee
a lot of secrets aren't that bad. But I don't
which
know.
Ones?
I think,
which one are which ones would you want to get right now?
Counterspell, Explosive Runes. Those are good secrets. It's supposed to.
What about the other 6 or 7 secrets?
Yeah,
I think Explosive Runes is gone.
The split one for your Antonidas. Perfect.
Okay.
I feel like Mage got the most, or some of the most obviously strong cards. Like, I don't think there's too much like, is Ray of Frost going to be good?
Well, yeah. And there's the neutral card that fits really well in Mage, too. There's one that, if you have a spell in your hand that costs 5 or greater,
that's it, right?
Is a 5-mana 4/4 that deals 4 damage to something.
Yeah.
So that just fits naturally in Big Mage with all of the, Frost Novas, or not Frost, Blizzards and Flame Strikes and Kaligos, Power Creation, that whole shenanigans. So I think that archetype is looking pretty polished and pretty strong.
Oh, Big Mage. Okay.
Yeah.
Without Jaina. Okay.
Well, you got Kaligos. It's new Jaina.
You just
take that out and you put in Kaligos, and then you put in.
It's one turn. It's one turn. Jaina. It's kind of like Big Mage back when we had whatchamacallit, the first Big Mage with the 7/7. Well, who?
Medivh.
Yeah, Medivh. Yeah, back with Medivh. It's kind of like
Gunter Mage, if you want to throw
back to
exactly.
Mage.
Good expensive card Mage. There was just like a bunch of value things that then occasionally got tempo.
Firelands Portal Mage.
Right.
Yeah.
That's basically Kaligos is just a really big Firelands portal. And then you get enough tempo off that to win the game.
Yeah,
that's
you
a
could
deck.
Look at it that way. Yeah, you could definitely look at it that way. Any thoughts on Pyroblasting to the face with that 0 cost mana?
Dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It doesn't matter. It just matter of whether it's actually good or not.
That's what's nutty is that almost your Discover has to be so bad on the turn you play it for this to be not a good turn, right? It has to be like the unluckiest Discover because there are so many good actors. There's potential AoE. There's potential just damage. There's even just getting a secret up to defend Kaligos for next turn isn't that bad. You don't even have to be stuck.
You don't have to play the Discovery card either. You could just play a card that you have in your hand that's good. You just have a Blizzard with this. It's always the nuts.
Yeah. That is going to be an insta-crafting gold and probably one of the first decks I even play because it just looks fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Flamewaker. So even getting Magic Dart Frog, which is scaled back, Flamewaker is still very, very fun. I love that.
Yeah, it's still good. It only costs 2, so costing 2 instead of costing 3 is like a really big deal because you can fight for the board with it a lot early.
Yeah. I just generally like the mechanic of you getting something when you play spells. And not every class has that, so it makes a lot of sense that Mage would have something like this. Okay, so that's Mage. Let's go to Paladin, which is coming up. Okay, so with Paladin, we've got some more secret stuff. And then
a lot of secret stuff.
A lot of
secret Paladin looks insane. There's also a neutral minion that is a 2-mana 2/3 that if there's a secret in play, gain +1/+1. So it's just Totem Golem for secret Paladin. So that seems pretty broken.
This new secret is never surrender.
Oh, it's so sick.
When your opponent casts a spell, give your minions +2 health. That's insane, dude, for Silverhand Paladin or Silverhand recruits and things like that. That's crazy.
What's really silly is when you look at Desperate Measures and it's a good card.
Yeah, it probably is. There's just that much secret support. Yeah.
Right.
People, well, one, there's all the support, right? Two, if Mysterious Blade is good enough, which it should be, you want as many like chances at 1-drop secrets if you want, if that ever becomes the case. But also, what with this new secret and the ones that already exist, what the hell does your opponent do when you play that? They've got
and it's just good tempo.
Close their eyes and hope, and then you can do it again. Because it's twin spell. It's stupid. It's insane.
It's just probably also just good tempo for its cost, right? Like you would normally, if you were like trying to fight for the board super aggressively, like the secrets are actually pretty good at doing so, but you can't play a deck that's just all secrets because you run out of cards, right? But this is 2 secrets attached to 1 card. So it's like 2 mana get 2 secrets, which is actually just pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's definitely
because it's 1 card.
I will say though, I think Nozari, against what many people have said, is the opposite of Caligos, and I think he just sucks.
Oh, yeah, he's complete trash. Well,
people have said he's good.
Away from Caligos as you could be in power level, and they're both 10 mana 4/12 dragons.
Well, he could be good if you can somehow discount him or something, but for the most part, you can't spend 10 mana doing nothing, because the way that the sequence is going to work out is you're going to clear their board to set up to play this. They're going to play more stuff, and then you're going to play this, and then they're going to hit you with their stuff. And then you've accomplished nothing, right? Like you've just delayed the game for like half a turn.
If it had Taunt, then it would be in the same power level as Caligos. Then I'd be like, okay, we can talk. But it doesn't, so it sucks. Everyone thinks this is amazing, and it just isn't.
I mean, it is a definitely restore to full health, which there's not that many cards in Hearthstone that do that. Ever.
It also restores you. It's like Leroy for your opponent as well, which obviously you're not playing an aggressive deck, but I just feel like your opponent's always gonna, if they're good, it's like when you play against a big mage with Jaina, you always put them on a position where they can't play Jaina. Because if they're dead, right? Like that's the style of position you put them in. And this is just worse because like it just doesn't accomplish anything afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it just delays your death for like 1 turn or 1 or 2 turns.
It's good versus like hyper aggro decks that run out of steam, but the issue is those decks kill you way before 10. Like if you've made it to 10 against the deck that runs out of steam, it's already over.
You've already won. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the 2 legends that Paladin got were, I don't know. I mean, the trigger secrets twice.
Risa's good.
You think Risa's good, even though like
with Never Surrender is insane.
But
you play a spell, everything on your board gets 4 health.
Yeah, but I mean, the secrets only trigger like when it's not your turn, right? So it's...
Yeah, but you play it, they have to trigger.
They have to kill it. Right? I mean, they have to kill it, sure. I mean...
And the idea is they can't, right? Redemption, the Divine Shield one, get down, plus health.
Oh, that makes sense.
Can't kill it, right?
You can't kill it, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense for redemption. Okay, I get it.
I will say as well, because I feel like I'm going to do this nearly every class, special shout out, I think Call to Adventure might end up being very powerful. Because you can end up making a tutor thing for like, say, if you play a control deck and Thakal is one of your cheapest minions, you can like just tutor Thakal out. Or, even Doomsayers, it's not that bad, right? 3 mana draw a Doomsayer if you want to, maybe. But I think like the tutor ability of this card could potentially be very powerful.
You can tutor out things and then duel people. That's also pretty good. Those kind of cards work pretty well together. You can tutor out...
like who? Who would you want to duel? Except for Doomsayer.
Duel, each player summons a minion from their deck, and then they attack each other. Yeah. So you just want like a big thing. So you tutor out the small things, and then they duel Ysera or something ridiculous, and then your minion sticks at the end, and their minion dies. Or you can tutor out like Shivala. Like, let's say you're playing like Shivala, Baleful Banker, OTK kind of thing. Be great. And then you go Call to Adventure to get the Baleful Banker out. And then you play Duel, which pulls out your Shivala, which then kills their guy. And then you Baleful Banker the Shivala back into your deck.
And the Baleful Banker's a 4/4.
I mean,
Yeah, and then you.
I mean, all
is
that
nice.
sounds great, but is that too situational? I mean, that's a lot of scenarios.
I think the idea is that it's almost like not because you can always kind of guarantee what you're going to pull, right? It's like in Dragon Paladin, if that's the thing, you can call to adventure the Fire Tree Witch Doctor, right? So then you have a 2-mana 4/4 that discovers whatever if you hold a dragon. So
I mean, I'm more with ChanmanV. I think it's interesting. I think there's combo potential, but it seems way worse than playing secrets on curve and just killing them instantly.
That's what I'm saying.
I am not saying it's going to be better than
secrets on curve into Commander Risa or whatever sounds broken as hell.
Yeah, Commander Risa. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. That's
They have Fiery War
no more control.
They have Totem Golem.
No more control.
They have a thing that makes all this. It's just insane.
You know what's really bad? When Never Surrender procced on stream, I was like, oh, that's really good. It gives 2 health to the minion that's attacked. No, it's the whole board.
Yeah, it's the whole board.
So
if it was just one minion, it would be.
Yeah, so boards are like unswipeable, basically.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They can't clear with Consecrate, Swipe. They're just dead.
Very few things will clear the board. It's crazy.
No, I'm telling you, day one, I'm going to play some Paladin, guys. I think it'll be all right.
Get the legend on day one.
The first time I see someone equality against this is going to be beautiful. It'll be so equality. Wait, I buffed the health? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah. What do you think of this blade? It's good. It's kind of like old War Axe, but if you're playing secrets,
I think the odds are though, especially with the 3-mana 3/4 that makes secret dies and makes a secret or pulls a secret.
Yes, that guy still exists.
Yeah, I
play that guy.
I think with the odds on you having a secret in a secret deck is actually going to be pretty high with that, the 1-mana twin spell. So I think if you just say it's this 2-mana deal 6.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. It's a War Axe most of the time. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane as just a War Axe. You just play a secret on turn 1, and if you don't have your Totem Golem guy, you just play this and War Axe the other aggro deck's minion, and you're just infinitely ahead.
And to be honest, is it completely horrible if you play, say you go Secret Keeper on 1, you have nothing turn 2 but this? Like, it's not so bad.
It's
like, a 2-attack weapon's still okay. Like, gets the job done.
I mean, if you have an aggressive, I mean, if you're going aggressive with
defend your Secret Keeper, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, if they contest it with a 2/2, like a Scavenging Hyena or something, or even if they play a 1/3 out, then you can bump your 1/2 in and then use the blade and kill it.
I think it's
so good.
You should pretty much always have a turn 1 play with that kind of deck because you probably run like 8 secrets plus 2 desperate measures plus Secret Keeper, and so now. Yeah, it's just you're gonna hit your curve every time, and it seems really powerful and hard to stop.
Also, everyone now kind of understands why Divine Favor's getting rotated. It would be fucking busted.
Dump all of your cards, Divine Favor, win. Yeah, this would be super broken.
It would just be the best deck in the game ever, maybe, if Divine Favor still exists.
It's true. But it sounds like Aggro Paladin's still going to be a thing. Yeah. So
I'm just glad already. It feels like aggro's going to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
aggro
clearly
seems
a focus.
Real good.
Clear focus, especially in a good number, like 4 or 5 classes. Too.
Yeah.
So for sure, we're going to be seeing that. Okay, well, we're going to move on to Priest next. Before we do, just want to give a quick shout out to just the folks that support the show. That's our patrons, of course. Definitely want to take some time each show. Just give a little shout out to everybody. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/valuetown. And if you like what we're doing, definitely throw a pledge our way. Really, really appreciate it. But want to say a quick thanks to Raydan, Bryce L, John C, Devin Y, Scott L, Grant A, Peter V, William R, Nick B, Michael S, and Richard G. Just to name a few. We kind of just go through the list as each and every episode. So haven't heard your name yet. You'll be hearing it in the coming weeks. Okay, let's talk about Priest here. All right, here we go. So Priest obviously losing a bunch of stuff, but still has a lot of things like Cloning Gallery and all that good stuff remaining in the deck. And of course at the top here, got Resurrection still being a very, very, a strong theme in Priest. Not quite as good as the Spellstone, but still 9 mana, summon 3 friendly minions that died this game, as well as Katrina.
Katrina seems insane.
Yeah.
Katrina is like really, really powerful. So, and if you're able to like create copies of it or summon it in other ways, then it starts reviving itself back.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that.
You start getting some like really weird situations happening, but even just an 8-mana 6/8 that revives something of any sort of substance and then continues to be a threat is absurd. It's got to be one of the most powerful cards, I think, in the entire set. Like, that just comes down on 8 and wins games.
I think the good thing is, or the redeeming factor is, they removed a lot of the stuff's rotating out of the mid-level stuff that makes res broken.
Yeah.
No, so it's still there. Look at Hench Clan Shade Quill.
Oh, yeah. That card.
Look at that.
That card.
I mean,
so good.
You still, with this card, you still probably can't play things like Cleric early on, right? Because you don't want
You can't cheat out. You can't cheat out.
I mean, there's not a lot of cheating going on.
Yeah.
As much anymore because of, say, Eternal Servitude, for example, and Shadow Essence.
I think Priest just has a lot of abilities to do just about anything because they have a 4-mana 4/7. Thing's just huge.
It's like a big old rotten bomb thing, man. It's like
it's just
insane.
Way more stats than everybody else has.
At least it's not taunt. If it was taunt,
I actually think they. A lot of the time on the reveal streams, some of the decks they show, you're just like, it's just not going to be good, is it? You know, Ixar even mentioned they build the extremist levels of all of these types of cards in the deck to show you what it does, and they're never that good. I actually think Silence Priest might be okay. There's some other cards as well in the neutral pool that could make this deck pretty savage, in my opinion. Again, they showed like a extremely sort of deep silence version. But I think Silence Priest might
silence
just be
on what,
fine.
like statues, and what are we silencing here?
So you silence the Hench Clan, I guess, but
but there's the Hench Clan, there's the statues, but then there's some other cards, but overall there's still there's even maybe late game, but Geppetto that can draw you 2 minions and cost them 1, then you silence them, which is neutral legendary. But I don't know, you can hit people pretty hard early on. And if you can silence off that big guy, then they ain't gonna heal up either.
Is there a high target, for the 4 mana to actually be worth, say, 10 mana? I mean, is there an obvious choice like that with this? Because this could be crazy great value if there is
I'm looking
a high.
at the neutrals now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there is anything.
Well, you can do the Geppetto thing, like he was saying. That's the 8-mana 6/6 that draws 2 minions from your deck and sets their attack and health to 1.
Okay.
And cost to 1.
And cost to 1.
So they become you could get a 1-mana big guy, silence it, boom, done.
Okay.
But
that seems like too many steps, though.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about just Leroy?
Silencing Leroy? How does that help?
silence?
Oh, you mean?
I mean just two of
creating
them.
a copy.
Two of
So it's
them.
like Leroy Faceless, but 1 mana discount.
Leroy and Priest. Oh my god, that'd be nuts.
I mean, it seems like a decent enough finisher.
Yeah, it's 12 is pretty
But-
solid. Yeah.
Yeah, the way that I see Priest probably going is they play a bunch of overstated minions, fight for the board, try and stay even with them against their overstated minions, and then they just play Katrina Muerte, and you lose because that's too many stats.
I do think with Lazul's scheme and Forbidden Words, we might just see good Priest. Because they have tools now. They have very flexible tools, and now even you have Lazul's scheme and a Cabal Shadow Priest, things like that, and it's like we might just see Priest just has good cards, and they've got overall more powerful things than me throughout a whole game.
Right, you could just play a bunch of good cards, and then Lazul's scheme plus Cabal Shadow Priest. That's just a game-winning play. There's a lot. If you're in a mid-range sort of mirror, and then you just do that, and then take their guy with Cabal Shadow Priest, game's just over. You don't come back from that as a mid-range deck. So they just have some really powerful mid-rangey stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lazul. I don't know. What do you like? You like Lazul?
I like Lazul.
We're talking about Lazul's scheme.
Yeah, no, I know
yeah.
Oh, but do you like
Madame
Lazul?
Lazul? No, I think it's terrible. It's a 3-mana 3/2.
Yeah,
I like it. I think it's a good potential tech card. I keep thinking of just specialist style cards. That's all. But
why do you want a copy of a card in your opponent's hand?
I mean,
I think as well you get to see what's in your opponent's hand.
I know what's in my opponent's hand. I take notes.
We're not all pro players like you, Firebat.
It doesn't help me. No, look at it. I've been practicing my note taking. I actually have a little hand reading charts that I printed out.
Yeah.
So if you see here,
do you
and they have
for it? Do you actually
the turns are on there, and then there's tables and chart. It's hard
time to
see
patent
in the
that,
camera.
dude. Time to totally patent that.
Yeah. So I got the official hand reading chart. Let me see.
For those of you For those of
I'm
you,
never gonna get the camera to focus.
No, it's
Wait,
only Firebat, man.
Hand reading
Only,
chart.
only Firebat would be the smart one to like. Actually.
For those of you who are either unfamiliar with this or maybe newer to Hearthstone than 2014, I guess Firebat is that Firebat is the fucking king of Hearthstone and gaming spreadsheets. Like it doesn't matter what it's about, what it's
Or he's
for,
the smart
or even
one.
what game it's for. Firebat will have a spreadsheet that helps you dramatically in any game, and it's kind of weird. And I like it because I like spreadsheets. Used to be my job.
I mean, this isn't even like rocket science, guys, but still, people go and just like write on their stupid piece of paper, you know, and there's no order to it, you know, no efficient way of doing
taking
it. So,
is a skill, and that's
it's
just a
just
fact.
amazing.
It's literally a skill.
And you're allowed to do it this year, so you have to practice it so that you can do it. I don't know if you're allowed to bring in your own little pre-made thing with boxes for organized note taking, so you're probably not. So I probably have to recreate that, but.
But
so,
by the looks of things, it wasn't the most complicated format in the world.
That's what I said. It's not like a rocket science or anything.
But that's a compliment, right? Because if you need to recreate it, you can.
Yeah.
That's the key thing, right?
But as someone that takes notes and tries to hand track, knowing what's in someone's hand is generally not super useful in the current Hearthstone format. Really? That could change based on, you know, how the cards interact and stuff. But most of the time, people play on curve in Hearthstone, and there's very few decks that are holding anything back for secret surprises, you know? And it's very rare that you can gain information that's super impactful, especially when you have to spend 3 mana to gain that information, because when you need that information or you need to scout for that information, it's because it's applicable right now. And spending 3 mana to try and discover that information is
well. I mean, you're getting more
ideal.
than that. I mean, you're actually getting a card draw.
Right, you're getting a tool.
I mean,
so I value it as like a 3 mana 3/2 draw card. But I think that most of the time when you copy a card from your opponent's hand, it's going to be a card that doesn't fit well with your game plan.
Yeah.
So it's a good card for mirror matches.
All right.
I think it's like a mediocre draw card is how I see it. It's like a mediocre kind of value generation.
My stamp on it is the card is cool.
It's cool.
I like the idea of the card.
What's better, Chameleos or this?
This. No. You Chameleos, so you know when to play this and steal the card you want.
Come on.
Yeah, when your entire hand is cards that figure out what their hand is doing, you no longer are left with cards that can react to what's in their hand.
That would be hilarious. Oh, God. All right, talk about Forbidden Words. What do you think Forbidden Words? How does this rank up there in terms of
really, really, really good. Most of the time, minions in Hearthstone have a lot less attack than health, because health is a better stat than attack in most cases. So this just trades favorably with, I would say, an average amount of creatures in the game. Like the best ideal scenario that comes to the top of my head is if they play Tundra Rhino and you get to just kill it for 2 mana. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's
one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons I talked about like priests just having good cards now. Because, like, imagine you play one of your big game-winning threats, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. Imagine you play 4-12, the Kaligos thing, right? And then they get to play 6 mana, kill your Kaligos. You know, they play 6 mana worth of stuff and then kill your Kaligos and just pull ahead on tempo against Kaligos, or at least break even. It's absurd.
Like, there aren't many cards in the game that just kill a thing. No matter what that thing is, pretty much, right? Because not many cards are going to have more than 10 attack, right? So, like, there's not many cards in the game that just kill a thing. And something this flexible, like you just said, you can end up with 5 mana left. It's like a old BGH sometimes, where you kill a big thing or you kill a reasonable size thing and then get to play something else. So this card's just really good.
Crazy flexible, man. Crazy flexible.
Mid-range tempo priest seems
good priest.
Solid.
There you go.
Just big good things.
These 2-drops are pretty dang good too. I still don't know how I feel about some of the Lackey cards, but Lackeys are definitely solid. But when you give up tempo for it a bit, it makes you think about it a little bit. But this one copies a Death Rattle, and we have like another Obsidian statue like Death Rattle, I think, in the neutral pool, right?
Yeah, it's only a 2/6 though, so
yeah. It's still getting the ability to remove a minion. Like
this. Wait, there is a good taunt one though. Have you seen a taunt?
It's a taunt 2/6.
No, there's a tunnel blaster, which is a 7-mana 3/7 taunt.
Oh,
but the
yeah,
death
there
rattle
we go.
deals 3 damage to all minions. Like that. It's
How about this on Safeguard?
Eh.
Safe.
I mean,
Safeguard. That's a
Shadowy-
great card. I love that card.
Dude.
Shadowy Figure reminds me of the 3-mana 2/3 that creates a 1/1 copy of a minion, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like
It's kind of like that.
it
yeah.
finds its way into some unique scenarios, but I don't see it as standalone, just good, you know?
Yeah, they like those 2/2 priests.
Hey, the minion has to be on board, right?
Yeah, it has to be on board.
All right. Yeah. Okay. fine.
Okay. All right.
I was
let's-
just wondering if like the 2/1 death rattle that pulls a card and so on, that pulls another death rattle, maybe you could start like heavy cycling. But if the minion has to be on board, then suddenly you're asking
Well, maybe like even Coffin, Coffin Crushers, right? Coffin
Crasher.
Crasher. I mean, you could just be, like Death Rattle when another Death Rattle card comes out, right? Like you could definitely do a lot of tempo things even with that. Okay, let's see. Next one.
Are we on the spicy one now?
Oh, okay, this is like Raven's
class.
favorite. Freaking Rogue. Rogue is definitely. I didn't actually get a chance to look closely at these cards, so lots of lackey stuff for sure. And then, what would you say the theme is, Raven?
So a lot of this is very much the thief theme, and I am extremely happy that they've announced, for those of you who don't know, the previous thieving cards from Rogue copied it from your opponent's class. The problem was that if you played a rogue mirror, then the cards that say use cards or do something with these cards from a different class didn't work because you were the rogue and they were the rogue. They have fixed that now. So it's basically random class or whatever most of the time. Most importantly, tests will work going forward in the rogue mirror, which will be nice. But here is nutty. It's a lot of thievery, but also just a lot of just cheating stuff, which is what Rogue's pretty good at. High Spire and Togwaggle is, I think, completely broken, along with cards like Prep and Togwaggle's Scheme, as well as some other things, even Dare and Escape, which we can touch on. But one of the cards that just got revealed this stream was Waggle Pick. I'm going to end up making jokes about that card's name on stream, so be prepared for me to maybe be sacked from Blizzard at some point, because I can make up some funny things about that. But that card seems real good and was a big surprise for me. I didn't expect them to get given a weapon like that.
Yeah, so this is what? Return a friend. So Waggle Pick is a 4-mana, 4 damage, 2 durability, Death Rattle, return a random friendly minion to your hand, and it costs 2 less. So it's like a Shadow Step kind of thing.
It reads, deal a lot of damage with Leroy.
And the weapon deals 8.
Yeah, you just weapon him for 8 and Leroy him twice, you're at 20.
Yeah,
you're almost there.
And then play another Shadow Step. And then just keep going with Leroy next turn. I don't know. Like it seems really good, but also you can do things like play the weapon, swing on 405, swing, and then play High Spire and Togwaggle if you have a lackey, and then swing and try and get it back. There's just like a ton of things you can do with this weapon that could be really valuable. And I'm literally just doing this at a glance. I've not even heavily thought about it.
It'll be really cool that your opponent can, or like if you are the opponent, you can ooze this too, and just basically can affect their tempo as well, right? When they have no control over it, that could be an interesting dynamic too. So yeah, definitely a really cool card.
Yeah, it gets blown out by ooze, that's for sure. But I think the highlight cards for me from Rogue are Vendetta and Underbelly Fence. Those cards seem both super nutty because 2-mana 3/4s with Rush. Totem Golems with Rush are very good at winning the board early on, and Blink Fox still exists. So like, there's some cards that are like pretty playable that can just give you a card from another class. So you don't got to go full meme with it, and then you can just build a tempo deck using Underbelly Fence and Vendetta.
The set of cards they added a while ago because they took so many out. Isn't one of them one mana create a random card
from another class? Yeah. So that would work. With it, I don't know if you go as far to play that card, but maybe that card's pretty terrible. But
it's just about how sort of stable you want the fence to be, right? Early on, and I don't know, but
wait, how much? Like, how expensive is that card you're talking about?
One.
It's one.
They're all the random 1-mana cards that were added.
Hallucination is removed, so you can't do hallucination, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it's called like Thief that card, and so that card's available. There's not a huge amount of thief cards that you're really excited about playing, like Hench Clan Burglars, pretty meh.
I wonder if the Echo one is just good. Is that's still in, right? The Echo
Pocket, yeah, 2 mana Echo for it.
Maybe.
Right, like it's like
it's
it
close,
makes
right?
it kind of close, but if there was like Swashbuckler, this would obviously be nuts,
broken,
insane. Like,
but I do think you'd probably give it a shot, just playing like Blink Fox and Thief with some Vendettas and some Underbelly Fences, and you probably connect together a lot of tempo.
You could scheme off of your opponent right off the bat if you wanted to use him that way, right? I mean, you can choose his minions, right?
Yeah, that's
well, you have to be holding it. You'd have to draw it.
Yeah, you have to draw it as well.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
One thing I'll ask here, do you think Tog's going to get extremely nerfed extremely quickly? Because with prep, you just break the game, right?
I don't think it will get nerfed. It seems good. It doesn't seem insane.
Okay. So my worry is how many games end up happening of turn 7, Tog, Lackey, Prep, Treasure win, pretty much. Like that's just a question.
The Treasure doesn't always win the game. A lot of people do really powerful stuff. And that's a 2-card combo that requires a Lackey on the field as well. So kind of like a 2.5 card combo.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. I'm not saying it 100% will be. I'm just generally wondering opinions because to me, I feel like we could see a decent chunk of games where that happens, and then draw 3, make them cost 0, do the Pyroblasts or whatever, summon legendaries or whatever. It seems like
draw 3, make them cost 0. Sounds like it's probably wouldn't even be that good in that deck. You're running preps and backstabs, and your probably highest cost minion is the Togwaggle, right?
Yeah.
So
I just mean being able to play 3 more cards that same turn.
Oh, okay, sure.
That's good because that's crazy. Yeah, it is going to be good.
Also, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound as good as Myris.
Yeah.
honestly, in like the current forms of Rogue right now, they already do the whole Myris thing. This is like another Myris.
My only thing as well is you don't even discover, right? You actually choose which treasure you want every time. So, for example, like
why not have both?
Don't you like discover a legendary and make 2 copies of it, right? Along with having the Tog on board at the same time. Like to me, that seems like pretty backbreaking in most matches.
Oh yeah, it sounds really powerful, but it's not unheard of for there to be 7 mana 3-card combos that are game breaking and cause you to win. Sure. I think it will probably cause you to win if you kept up on tempo and then did that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's been true in Hearthstone a lot. 3-card combos on turn 7 win games all the time.
Mm-hmm. And High Baron now. Spiteful something around.
I think Rogue got some cool cards though.
Yeah, Heist Baron Togwaggle, by the way, is a 6-mana 5/5 legendary battlecry. If you control a Lackey, choose a fantastic treasure, which is
I like
one of the treasures
also
that we saw in the past. Like with wait, it's the treasures from is it from Marin or
Marin the Fox?
Or it's from Marin. Okay, it's from Marin.
It's the couple.
So you can get two random. Discover a random legendary and get 2 copies of it, or you can get the Golden Monkey, which turns your hand into random legendaries and is a 3-mana 6/6. Or you can get what's the other ones?
By the power of Google.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about them.
So draw a card, fill your hand with copies of it, draw 3 cards, reduce them to 0, discover a legendary minion, summon 2 copies, and then Golden Kobold, which is a 3-mana 6/6 taunt. Battlecry, replace your hand with legendary minions.
Yeah.
Right. So you're pretty much always going to pick them, make 2 legendaries.
Probably.
Yeah.
Unless it's in some kind of combo deck with like Malygos or something, you might want to use 1 to draw 3 as a guess, but that's extreme. So
Rogue has some sweet late game stuff. It's just as Rogue, oftentimes you don't make it to the late game, and I think this could potentially fall into that category where it's like awesome if you get there, but it's a lot of setup to get to be able to actually make it happen and have it work. And same thing with Tech Naz Whiskerer. Like that thing's sweet. If you're able to do that with like academic espionage, you get 10 1-cast cards in your hand that are pretty sweet.
So. Pogo bunnies.
Or pogo hoppers and stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think about unidentified contract? because we saw that a little
It's
bit
really
in the first one. Because this can be different things, right? Like it's I forgot what the
So it's,
they are. It's like
it's either destroy a minion, summon a 1/1 patient assassin, destroy a minion, it deals its damage to adjacent minions, so like
Right.
betrayal.
Oh, God, that's so
Destroy a
good.
minion, add a copy of it to your hand, and destroy a minion, add 2 coins to your hand.
Which
So
sucks.
all that sucks. What? 2 coins?
Would you want 2 coins? That late?
Coins are
in the game?
normally pretty good in Rogue.
I think the
don't
card's
know.
pretty terrible because it costs 6 and it does the same thing as a 4-cost card and a 2-cost card and a 5-cost card. So the
Rogue
Rogue has
doesn't
a
have
lot of
any
access
issues.
to single target
Yeah,
removal. They have
exactly.
Sap, Walk the Plank, and Assassinate. And I think all of those are probably more desirable than this card.
I think it's important that there is the removal available, but yeah, Rogue kind of has it. I just wonder if the effects are ever just outweigh, if the mana cost outweigh the effects.
Well, if the effect was like you always get 2 coins, card would be insane because then you can plan around the 2 coins and build some sort of weird Malagos deck.
Yeah.
But no. And if the effect was always one of the like really good ones, like if it always made a patient assassin, I think it'd probably be pretty cool. Or if it always did the betrayal one.
Oh, okay. So it's not that any of them are actually you think are bad. It's that you don't get to pick.
Well, you can't plan around the
you still have to
consistency,
play
so
it,
that makes
too.
some of the outcomes not as good.
Yeah.
And then I think the cards just cost too much mana.
Okay.
It's not efficient. It's a value card in Rogue, and it's a value removal. So, like,
it's a fair card actually, and that's usually bad. I think that's a good way to describe it.
Sure.
'Cause what you're getting is about a 2 mana, whatever you get, and
I'm just wondering if you so Assassinate's 5 mana, right? So that was one of the cards.
We don't play that.
yeah, we don't
at
play
all.
Assassinate though.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So like Assassinate's 5 mana, so we're scratching that. Water the Plank, they have to be undamaged for 4 mana, right?
Or Sap.
Yeah,
too.
but
I
it
mean,
generally
it's like-
kills everything at around,
Yeah. I'm generally just trying to work out whether the mana cost is just fine. I don't know. I think it's okay.
Which means it's
whether
not
it gets
good.
played, I don't know. But the mana cost-
Which means it's not.
the more you have to wait to remove something too, the worse it gets. So like you're getting other effects added on to it that are offsetting its mana cost, but like removal that's cheap is better than removal that's expensive.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
killing things earlier and more flexibly is very powerful. So like cards that have often seen a lot of player cards that remove things at a very cheap price but have a drawbacks, things like mulch and naturalize, because flexible removal is insane because you can develop things that give yourself tempo alongside of it. Whereas this is removal with added value attached to it, which is almost always terrible, like Siphon Soul and stuff like that, because you want to be doing your own stuff while removing their thing. You don't want to be generating value while removing, because the basis of tempo and the basis of the whole game is kill their guy while putting your own guy in place so that they are forced in a situation where they have to do the same thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I think these style of cards are almost always just terrible.
So do you guys like the lackeys? I mean, outside of the one that actually gives you the minions, I mean, obviously, no question that's a good one, right? But do you like just the lackeys generally and the chances of getting the good ones? Like, are they good enough to play? Like the Evil Miscreant, is that a good card?
Yeah, that card's nuts.
Yeah, it's a 1/5 for 3 mana.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think like the biggest thing for me is, especially in Rogue, that gains you also 2/1 mana. You have to combo it, of course, but that gains you 2/1 mana cards to then keep comboing things with. The 1 mana cards also do something and are minions, which you can make some level of use of.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it means you can always do something. I think that's the lackeys are kind of the extension of a hero power, in my opinion, of like, well, you can, if stuff generates lackeys, then the lackeys are going to either generate something else or generate an effect. So you can always keep playing them. You like always effectively drawing cards, which I think is a good thing. How powerful they're going to be right now, I think that card specifically is good because sometimes you want just a 1/5 on 3 anyway. You know, just to play it
you're
as a
gonna need
1/5
that for
maybe,
Togwaggle
instead
too.
of matchups.
So, yeah.
But I think like that card's good. I'm not sure how good the lackeys are overall, but I like the idea of having stuff to do in the game and in your hands. You don't have to always have to try and run crazy card draw.
Okay, let's move on to Shaman. And Shaman is the new Murloc class. Who knew? Until today, for the most part. I didn't actually realize they were going to get so many Murloc things today. But this was the one class that had probably 5 cards I think that weren't revealed yet, and almost all of them had to do with Murloc, which was pretty interesting. So clearly a huge theme for Shaman, but you know, I think one of the things going into this expansion, this reset, was just how is Shaman going to win games? You know, like they've got definitely some very interesting value, healing, and some even still some removal left over. But how are they going to win games? And I guess the answer to that is going wide with Murlocs and, you know, going with Bloodlust, you know, old school. So what's y'all's take on Shaman, you know, and what you've seen so far?
I'm glad Flame Tongue got nerfed.
Dude, seriously.
I mentioned earlier, aggro's looking pretty good this expansion. This deck is going to be the one you're afraid of on ladder, I think, as an easy deck to build. It's straightforward. Toss all the bloody Murlocs in, and then honestly, I kind of again believe in the deck we saw on stream to a certain extent. I think you put Hagatha in almost every single Shaman deck you ever make, because I think it's just decent. The power level of the cards you get of 2 spells, cool 1 aimed and 1 neutral, is insane, and it's a great finisher for late game and value generation. But in general, like that Underbelly Angler is just, Murlocs are supposed to run out of stuff, and with that and Soul of the Murloc, they don't, and it scares me.
And then on top of that, like even just Mutate's pretty good, but there's a neutral Murloc that's insane in this set as well. There's one there's 2 insane neutral Murloc ones. There's one that's riding a Stone Tusk Boar, which I think is very flavorful and funny. And then there's a 1/2 that just gives a Murloc poison, just straight up.
Yeah.
1 mana, 1/2, kill anything if you have the board. Yeah, that card is absolutely broken.
And I heard you should have the board when you play Murlocs and have a Death Rattle summon a 1/1 Murloc to your minions.
Yes. Like even Scargill, your Murlocs cost 1. I mean, geez, that's nice.
Also, as well, I wonder if the 4 mana draw of 5 or more drop comes into play in this deck, because you can just guarantee Bloodlust, or not guarantee, but you know, you have more draws for Bloodlust in this deck. Seems pretty good, because you're not running late spells in this deck, are you? So you run Bloodlust only as 5+, and then you just play like effectively 4 Bloodlust in your deck.
Yeah, I just want to point out that. Compare Soul. Can we compare Soul of the Murloc for 2 mana to that whatever that spell was where you turn them into totems?
Soul of the Forest.
No, the one you turn them into totems.
Totems,
right? Yeah, it's just like I mean, it's not.
Would you like a tribe and some damage attached to that spell? Thank you.
This is like so much better, crazy much better. But yeah, Swamp Queen Hagatha with like Stormbringer. You know, like Kibler did Stormbringer today. Oh my god, that's like. Crazy. Yeah. I didn't even see the lightning bolt. Where did the lightning bolt go in that? Did it actually happen when he played it?
No clue. Didn't even look.
Because the Hagatha gets 1.
Oh no, it wasn't lightning bolt. It was voodoo.
Oh yeah, he picked voodoo. He didn't pick lightning. Okay, yeah. That's right.
But the craziest thing with Hagatha is that for those who don't know, the first discover is a targeted spell: lightning bolt, lava burst, etc. When you aim with your cursor, the second spell is a non-targeted. So when you bring those 2 pools down, you can get a pretty steady selection of options, right? Like it's kind of scary, because you look at the non-targetable, like Bloodlust, for example, that we saw. It's just kind of nutty, and then there's some removal if you need it that's non-targetable. I mean.
Yeah, but it's 14 mana. I'm not sold on that card yet, but I am really interested in the Underbelly Angler. Seems insane, and then Soul of the Murloc just actually seems busted. So I mean, Soul of the Forest.
You have to kill it twice.
So scary.
Yeah, Soul of the Forest is almost broken in Druid, and like this is half the cost. It just fits so flexibly while you're developing minions. If you have like 2 things stick, you can probably play 2 more things alongside this, and then play Soul of the Murloc. It's so nutty.
And they're Murlocs. They bring back Murlocs. It's unfair. Like they bring back the tribe. That's something they normally don't do with those spells.
Right. There's no Megasaur anymore, which is good, because otherwise this would be just wrong. But they still have War Leader, and it's pretty terrifying. I think Murloc aggro is just good.
Yeah. And I think, Raven, you're right. It's easy to build. I mean, it's old school like Murloc Paladin. You know, it's just going to be very straightforward to play. A little bit cooler than Murloc Paladin, but
I want to see Archmage Margoth with the Murloc spell.
So on top of that, on top of the aggro line that they have now with just archetype wise, look at this heal spell. Which is I mean, basically you get 20 heal off of that. If you can just cast it over and over again, right? Like,
yeah, they have a lot of healing. It's just they lack some AoE still in Shaman. Like they have Hagatha's Scheme, but they're losing Volcano. And I think honestly, Volcano's probably a stronger card against aggro than Hagatha's Scheme is, because it's just online right away on turn 5. Whereas Hagatha's Scheme, you know, you got to wait towards the later stages of the game, and maybe by then aggro's already killed you. So I think Shaman might have a bit of a struggle in a controlling style beating up on aggro because of just the loss of Volcano alone and how powerful that card is against aggressive to mid-range decks.
Do you think they just needed to widen the pool of not aggressive spells?
I don't know. I think it's a good card. It's it's a slow card. Hagatha's Scheme is a really good card. It's just it's not good versus aggro because you need to basically have it in your opening hand to make it effective against aggro, because you need to play it turn 5 versus aggro. So,
and it's not cheap either because it's your whole turn at that point as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And so unless it's killing everything on turn 5, well, you're out of luck.
Pretty much, yeah. You might still have to run like Wild Pyro and some stuff like that. So Muckmorph. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
That's what I was gonna say. Witch's Brew can work really well with Wild Pyro because it can restore anything, right? It's not just to only your hero. So you can go like Wild Pyro and then just keep chaining it.
Oh my god, yeah.
So that's pretty nutty.
Yeah, that's 4.
But again, it's a lot of mana.
Yeah. It's still worth clearing the board though.
Super slow. Unless you're going aggro Murlocs.
But it's pretty nice to be able to go either or, you know, like in a class, just having that option. Muckmorpher, any initial thoughts on abusing this, like Malagos or anything?
I thought this card was busted because I thought, just looking at the art, it was some kind of Murloc. And I was like, oh no, Scargirl, Muckmorpher into 2 Malagos, and then something dead. And I saw it wasn't a Murloc and was like, thank you, Blizzard. Someone had sense. But even as just a 5-drop, like maybe there's some combos, but
could you play it in a Murloc? I mean, Underbelly Angler and Scargill, these are not battle cries or death rattle. I mean, these are just straight up, you know, abilities. As long as
it's a 4/4 copy, so it doesn't turn into like a 2/3 or something. Yeah,
but you still be drawing, you know, after you play a Murloc. I don't know.
It seems like a really exciting card. And if you're gonna make Control Shaman work, I think it's probably gonna be one of the pieces inside of it that makes it happen. Pulling like a Zilliax or something seems pretty sweet, because you would get Lifesteal, Rush, Divine Shield, 4/4, which is pretty nutty. Or even just with Walking Fountain, it can be really cool. You know, if your deck is just Zilliax, 2 Walking Fountains, and some Muckmorphers, and you just hit those things on 5, and every single time you get to turn 5, you're like, boom, heal for 8, kill your guy.
I just want to see that deck, and the Muckmorpher transforms into a Muckmorpher.
Yeah, that's the downside, right? That's what's going to happen.
And then I was like, okay, concede. It's like next game. It's definitely cool, though. So that card is one that you can always see them in sets. One day, that card's going to be busted. One day it's going to be broken.
When there's
someone will find a way.
Yeah.
Just a Lich King or something. I don't know. Something that's just crazy great value. All right, Warlock. Okay, we've got lots of imps and demons and things like that today shown on stream. So
I think Warlock's probably one of the classes I think looks the coolest with all the directions they can kind of go with. Like they have like a controlling style that they could maybe do with the Fell Lord V-Trug plus Plot Twist. So you kind of like at turn 10, you get this out, and then you Plot Twist to shuffle your whole hand in, and then draw that many cards, and then it summons out copies with Rush, and you can be drawing into the Brood Mothers with that whole thing. So like the Brood Mother can just be a card that you keep Plot Twisting back into your deck and then redrawing to heal.
Oh my god, we just talked about weird
mechanics.
We just talked about 3 cards in a row here in this combo.
It's a cool like thing that we've never seen before, but like the on-draw combos and then throwing things back in your deck for the purpose of drawing it for the on-draw combo, because it falls into this weird area where you're not spending mana to accomplish something, which is kind of crazy in a card game, because like mana is your main way of economy in the game. So yeah, when you get to bypass that, it can be pretty sweet. And
it's definitely
Also,
something.
there's the typical Fellord Betrug lives for a turn, then you Archvillain Reform, and then plot twist, and then just play loads of legendaries.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
Also, just a small note with the
Oh.
Betrug thing. There's plot twist, as you mentioned. Plot twist, I think, is an absolutely busted card. That
Yeah.
card kind of exists in other card games, and it's always just amazing. Oh, don't really like this hand. Once 2 mana, draw a new hand is
redraw
just.
hand.
But also, Fellord and Solarium as well is actually pretty decent. Solarium being a card that you can play quite well with that.
With the Fellord too.
Because you draw them, right? So you draw
Just
them,
double
summon
of
them,
them.
and then you have
Yeah.
3 to play if you want or don't, whatever. But 1 mana, create 3 rushes that die at the end of the turn, as well as Fellord. Like even if you don't play any of them and discard them, it ain't that bad, right? Like
Yeah,
That's
so
crazy. All
the
those things are
crazy
crazy.
stuff happening with Control Warlock looks really sweet, and then on the other side of things, the zoo
ain't
stuff.
too bad too. Yes,
Yeah.
zoo's pretty good.
The imps, you can make a ton of imps, and then Inferno to like if your imps stick and they try to develop into it in like an aggro mirror, you just kill their board and then kill them, which is it could be kind of interesting.
There's a neutral card that fills both sides with imps too.
Yeah.
I have a question, right?
And Sea Giant is a card you could play.
Or
like,
Inferno just wipes the other side out. Like
Yeah.
so it's
Is
crazy.
there ever a Reform Scheme Darkest Hour deck where you play those spells and just a set minion count, shuffle them back in with plot twist, and then just play Reform Scheme and Darkest Hour?
Oh my god, I'm getting. Oh my god. Okay.
So you summon
All right,
X
so you
amount
summon-
of imps with the scheme, and then
Right.
Darkest Hour on the same turn destroys all your
Which
minions.
destroys
and
them all,
each
summons
one-
random minions from your deck. That's what it does, right?
Like
Darkest
that
Hour.
seems like
And then wait, what do you do
exciting
after
because it
Darkest
could be
Hour?
winning.
What do you do after Darkest Hour? Then you,
have a load of massive minions from your deck.
yeah.
Well, is there some way there you can make them all kill them instantly? Because you're gonna need to kill them with them.
Huh? Well, what if they're just like void lords and stuff? I don't know. I'm thinking if you Reform Scheme 7 minions and you have a deck that's like got X amount of big guys in that are just a pain in the ass somehow, then that's
What
just
is-
like 2 cards that have a very big turn, right? Fill your board with big dudes.
Yeah, it's another win condition for like a controlling warlock. You slow
Yeah.
down the game a bunch and then do that.
It's
But yet-
minus. Yeah.
Because
If there's some way you can create like a combo, like how Cloning Gallery Priest does it,
yeah.
and then it's like tier 1. But yeah, that's
Can't
the
make
trick
it
is
cheap
finding
enough,
it.
right? I just
don't
see it
think so.
because like plot twist. Oh, I've drawn the bad minions. Boop. Put them back in the deck.
That's
Like
crazy.
that's really
It's a single
powerful, and then you
turn,
just
too.
wait.
Yeah.
Like it's potentially pretty cool. Like because Darkest Hour is such a sick card. I don't know why. I just like it. It's just
Well, I mean, it
Might be
goes
fresh.
well with Reform Scheme. I mean, it goes
So-
well when you're talking about imps, you know.
Are the imps one costed?
Yeah, I'm
I
pretty
think
sure.
they're one mana, one imps. Yeah,
Oh,
they're just an
you
imp.
can give them a magic carpet ride, dude.
They're played,
That's
right?
so funny.
Carpet says play.
Oh,
not
it's
summon.
play only, not summon. That would have been sick.
That'd be so sick.
Oh my god, these are
An imp
broken
thinking
things.
A whole
man.
new world duet.
A whole new world.
That's all we want in life.
Oh, they
Someone
totally
make
need
that
to-
video right now.
They need to
Yeah.
incorporate that into the soundboard for you.
But yeah, I don't know. Like that Reform Scheme Darkest Hour seems super exciting. It's something I'm definitely gonna try somehow.
Yeah, so Warlock's pretty crazy sick here with just I mean all these combos. I didn't even think about some of these combos you guys were mentioning. It's just insane. And not to mention anyway, there are little things too that are just nice. Like you mentioned Broodmother here with like the ability to kind of just heal yourself. And
Yeah.
see the Jumbo Imp, is this any good? This is the one that Crip was saying should have been the Imp Giant. They totally misnamed this, which I actually kind of agree on that. It costs 1 less when a friendly minion dies. It's almost like it's like Quarter Creepers or Sea Giantish or something like that, right? Like in terms of it's going to be really cheap when you
Seems
play.
Tough to make that guy work because there's not a lot of demons that are cheap and easy to have die, right? I don't know. Maybe you put it in Zoo and it finds its way, but it's not just. It has to be in your hand.
Yeah, I mean, you just do what Raven was talking about. you just Reform Scheme the
Aim
Darkest
into
Hour
it.
into Jumbo Imp, right? Like could you do that? It's 7. No, I guess that's still 3. You wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, you still need even more work than that.
That's
like
true.
It just,
You need
and
a few more.
That means this card has just been sitting in your hand for the entire game, waiting for that combo to happen. It just doesn't. It seems very difficult
to have it happen. And I'd probably rather just play a Sea Giant, and I would probably, try and just go Reform Scheme, drop the Sea Giant. It's just faster.
The problem is they want you to play a deck that is normally quite aggressive whilst holding an unplayable card from the start of the game, which goes against it, right? Like you don't want to have an unplayable card in an aggro deck.
What can we do with giant demons? Is there anything giant demons do right now? Because the way I could see this working is if there's a payoff for having a giant demon. But there's nothing that like buffs giant demons in a way that's desirable. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of setup for very little payoff.
They were doing the thing with the Void dude, the 2-mana 2/2 that +1/+1 to demons in hand. They were doing something
+1/+. Oh, okay. The
hand buff one. Because we ain't playing Kelseth anymore,
yeah, that's
right?
like a neutral. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Does the thingy card get good now? I'm actually going to open up Warlock so I can see some things. But
well, go ahead.
Wait. Oh, does Spirit of the Bat ever get good now?
I doubt it.
After a friendly minion dies, give a minion in your hand +1/+1 if we're summoning imps.
I don't think that's good.
We don't have enough stuff that summons things. I don't think it's just too much loss in tempo.
I hope that card gets good now. Blood Troll Sapper. I want that card to be good.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Warrior here. All right. Warrior. I think I missed this today. I didn't actually see their Warrior battle if they had one today. I'm not sure which ones the new ones are, but in general, Warrior. Any theme you guys see besides I know the bomb is definitely a big thing in terms of like Blastmaster Boom and those things, which we saw in previous reveals. But anything today that was new?
The Sweeping Strikes was new, and Vicious Scrap Hound, and I believe was Dimensional Ripper new as well.
No, that was already revealed.
Okay.
Yeah. Friendly damages next to whoever this. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
So it gives a minion cleave essentially.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's quite good if you have.
What's good is it's constant as well, right?
Right. It's a lot better than Betrayal, and it costs about the same amount, so it's pretty similar because it gets to persist afterwards a lot of the time. But at the same time, it still has a lot of conditional for this removal effect. It requires you to have the board as a warrior, which is a bummer because that never happens. But you can use it with Zilliax for some sweet heal. Because if you put it on Zilliax, it's going to heal you for 9, right? If there's 3 minions.
Oh my god!
That's 7 mana.
Kilogram in chat just recommended Sweeping Strikes on Akali.
Oh, the Rhino?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Against like a Murloc deck or something? Oh, that'd be disgusting.
Wait, will it pull 3 things then?
Yeah.
I guess if it overkills all of them, sure.
Yeah, it overkills all of them. It gets 3 things and it buffs them.
I actually think Warrior feels lackluster to me because I just don't believe in this bomb life, unfortunately. I don't believe it's going to be good. But Omega Devastator actually just feels like the best Warrior card for me.
I think Warrior will be good, but not because the cards are good, but because Dr. Boom is getting buffed really hard.
As in the hero, Dr. Boom.
The hero, yeah. So just like controlling and discovering mechs is really good. If you stabilize against people, all of a sudden now you're discovering from like Omega Assembly, Omega Devastator, even just
Boom
the Clockwork Goblin, the Boom
then
Reaver.
The legendary is sick.
Yeah.
And suddenly, if you're discovering cards that put bombs in your opponent's deck, that gets better for late game.
Yeah. So I don't even know if you play any of these cards, but you just play Control Warrior and then it discovers them and it gets nutty. So I think Warrior is deceptively going to be kind of strong because Control Warrior just seems pretty sweet.
Dr. Boom's Dr. Boom's inconsistent though, right? Like you're not going to get the draw.
But you have Omega Assembly, right?
Omega Assembly.
Omega Assembly gives you a lot, but it still doesn't take you into. I mean, we're about to talk about Elysiana, right? So, I mean, I don't think it takes you past that, unless you just play Warrior with that too. I guess that could be the case, but I don't know.
All I'll say is
that'd be a bummer if that's the case for me. That's the same type of Warrior we've been playing forever now.
Yeah, I think that's what Warrior will be. It'll just be Control Warrior discovers a bunch of these really good new mechs off Omega Assembly, like Vicious Scraphound. Even if you magnetize things onto that, all of a sudden you're gaining a lot of defensive attributes. So like every mech that they have here is just absolutely, Ziliax.
Lifesteal doubled because you gain half of his armor as well. That's so sick.
So yeah, all of these mechs off of Omega Assembly are like, they're pretty terrible until you make it to the turn when you are Dr. Boom and they all have Rush.
Right.
But as soon as they all have Rush, it's absolutely insane.
It's like the Stonehill thing, right? It's like you've got to look at taunts in the metagame, regardless of whether they're playable in a deck, because Stonehill can discover them and they might be good in situations.
Right.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same
What's up with this card, man? Like, is this card ever good?
No, I think it's kind of a bait unless there's some sort of combo you can make, but
I don't even even if it was, it's 10 mana. It's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if they have Rush or something because you are Dr. Boom, then all of a sudden it's 10 mana, which develops things and clears the board.
Is there still all the big warrior cards in? You know, like no, because Recruit a Friend or whatever it's called, or Recruit isn't in, is it?
No.
So all those cards go. So that's just kind of a weird card then. I think that's just a fun build a weird deck card.
Yeah. But Omega Assembly seems broken.
Broken right now? Yeah. I was hoping we would see something a little bit different, but it's pretty hard to get away from mechs whenever they
when
put
Pirate
so
and
much
Dragon
resources.
Warrior left.
Yeah.
Warrior went downhill.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so let's just get to the neutrals and just kind of go through them a little bit, maybe row by row, and just anything that sticks out. And okay, so first row. Oh god, big bag.
Oh, you're in a different order than me. Oh no.
Oh, am I?
Okay.
Oh, big bad Archmage. Here, I'll give you the link. Here.
Okay.
Not a good card. People say you can cheat it out and then be kind of interesting. I think it would be mediocre at best when cheated out. There's probably better options for things you can cheat out.
I was looking at the 6 drops. There's a lot of bad ones. If you saw them. There's a lot of them with battle cries and stuff like that. So the vanilla 6/6 or 6 drops are pretty bad. Okay, Elysion, I want to talk about this card. So I think this card needs to be changed. Like this is the only card out of the entire set that I think is potentially bad for the game, and especially the pro, like just specialists and things like that.
It does seem in like control games, it's going to be a problem.
Warrior, did we just talk about Warrior, right? You just talked about Warrior and all this crazy, late game, just value with the mechs and everything. Imagine if they had that card too, that could be bounced too.
They could be bounced. I don't know how do they bounce it, but
Brewmaster.
You're brewmastering it. You're kind of giving up a lot of percentage points against non-control strategies.
It's a thingy, right? For tournament play,
yeah. I mean, this is the card you just play when everybody plays it, right? Like,
oh my god. Well, and people are going to stop bringing Warrior to specialist format then, because people will have in their deck that plus Brewmaster, and then if you try and play Control Warrior against it, you lose unless you also have that plus Brewmaster.
Right.
And then it's a game where 20 cards are completely random, and that just decides everything.
Nightmare.
My honest hope is that either this isn't a thing because people just kill people who bring control decks because aggro seems really powerful. Great. If not, if this is actually a problem, instead of nerfing or doing whatever with the card, I kind of hope they just ban it in specialist competitive, because it doesn't add anything to the game, right? That's if it goes down the dark timeline of both players just bring it with bouncers and we keep rolling the dice to see who wins late games. That's just no good for anyone, right? It's no fun.
Right.
Like it's no good for pro players. It's no good for casters, because it's like, let's just wait 30 turns till we get to this point. Now we see who gets the better discovers. Oh, he can re-roll his discovers. Okay, that's just rubbish, right? So I hope they just go, you're not allowed to play that card. And I think that would be fine.
That would make Control Warrior mirrors the worst if this.
It's nightmare. It's like
that's what I mean. It's the worst timeline.
Ruining like just your new Grandmaster, your debut and all that stuff. World Championships. I don't even think even if they do want to change it, I don't know they're going to change it that quick.
It costs a lot of mana. So there could be like a spot, like brewmastering it might be impossible because you can't really afford to spend 10 mana twice. Or well, 18 mana, I guess, without dying. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a real possibility. Warrior Seat is usually tempo-y enough, though, that when you do like plays like that, they do kind of kill you. So
my hope is that aggro is just good and everyone's dead by this point anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, the thing is, if aggro is good, Warrior becomes good.
Yeah, no, right.
It's good against
the
aggro.
The good control decks are good against aggro. I mean, that's what they were made for. That's exactly what they're made for, right?
Yeah.
I honestly just hope that they just, if it's a problem or if it's even remotely hinted at a problem, they just ban it from competitive play because no one would be upset. Like, no one's going to get upset about not rolling the dice in a mirror match on this card, right?
There's also a positive timeline with this, I think, where the drawback of playing an 8-mana 7/7 is high enough to where, the games are going kind of even, and then you have to try and evaluate or create a window of opportunity to even be able to play it without dying, I think is a possibility. Because if you can just keep slamming threats at your opponent that your opponent has to keep killing, maybe they can't find a good window of opportunity to play it, and it becomes difficult, and then you have interesting gameplay still. So I do think there's a world where you have interesting gameplay against this card. I also do understand that there's a world where you're just not under enough pressure and you can play it. So
that one turn.
Right. If you sometimes there's warrior mirrors where you just have tons of free turns. Sometimes there's not. It just depends what the deck ends up looking like at the end of the day. So I don't want to jump to conclusions and be like, we got to ban it now. But
like I said, it was just, if it gets to a problem, I hope they just make the decision.
Right.
Well, the good news is they can make those decisions quick now. Yeah. So that's good news. But
I don't want a drawn out decision about this.
Me too.
So
we don't need a month of data for this, Right. Like, just take about a couple weeks and please.
Well, quite honestly, if they don't react quickly in Pro League, the Pro League ends. They can't take 2 months decided.
Yeah.
Because it ends. Like that's as long as it lasts.
That's
so
true. That's a good point.
Crossed.
Yeah. All right, keep going here. You guys, anything that pops up here?
Geppetto seems awesome.
We talked about Geppetto briefly. Draw 2 minions from your deck, set their attack and health, and cost 1. And it's an 8-mana 6/6.
Malivellen, let's go!
Oh my god, that's like nuts, man! Like crazy nuts. That's like crazy nuts, right?
It's just you have to draw them in specific orders, etc.
Right.
It's not as simple as that, but this card again just is such a weird effect and so powerful. Make a minion cost 1 is like so crazy. I like it.
Well, with Warlock, you can throw your hand back in, right?
Yes, but you can do some shenanigans with Warlock by throwing your hand back in.
Is there enough direct damage to win like that with Warlock? Is there a Mali deck with Warlock?
Well, the issue is you can't throw your hand back in, then play this, because if you throw your hand back in, you've thrown this guy back in. So you still have to draw it in the right order eventually.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's some convoluted combos that may exist here. I think more often than not, they're going to be too slow to see play because the rest of the set seems fairly aggressive, and this is an 8-mana 6/6 that requires you to either draw your deck in the right order or draw your deck in the wrong order, play an expensive thing, send it back into your deck, and then do it. Because it takes like 10 mana to play Malagos and then send it back into your deck as Rogue with Togwaggle Scheme or something.
Right.
So I find it unlikely that it's going to create something. But with one of these kind of cards, it's always open-ended. And sometimes, there's a combo that we don't immediately see that gets real crazy. So it's definitely something to watch.
I just realized, guys, there's the counter to, how do you say your name? Alisana?
Yeah,
Chef Nomi. You play it before. If you're both in fatigue, then they can't play it.
Somebody said that actually. Yeah.
Someone actually said that?
Kilogram. Kilogram.
I honestly didn't read that, but I'll share the credit with you on that one, friend.
It does seem like it could work pretty well against it. One of the issues with Chef Nomi, though, is Brawl.
Yeah. It's not that hard to get good. Yeah, exactly. It's not that hard to get.
Damn you, Firebat.
Warriors never really struggled.
If Chef Nomi became popular, everybody would be holding cards that deal with Chef Nomi, So yeah, so Geppetto, one thing about Geppetto, guys, by the way, it's actually draw the actual minions, right? It's not it's not copy. It's actually the minions and convert them to
Right.
Yeah, so that's a big difference. Yeah.
It thins the deck out for sure.
Yeah.
You've also got to wonder as well in like I mean, Rogue jumps to mind straight away just because the nature of the cards. But you know, we saw from the Brawl that was everything's 1 mana that Rogue does extremely broken shit when stuff's 1 mana. You know, I'm not saying this is a good card in Rogue. I have no clue. But just you know, maybe you don't need an exact combo. Maybe you just need a deck with a lot of cards that do good stuff.
Right. Maybe you just need
cries or whatever.
Mayor.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. And that's
so it is a 6/6. So like if you're using it for pure combo, you're not really getting the value of its stats at all. So it might serve better purpose in what you're saying, like a tempo deck. You just play an 8 mana. You just play it on like turn 10 and then play the 1-drops with really powerful battle cries.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, what's Mega Wind Fairy? When Rolling Tempest? Is it
hit 4 times?
4 times?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I thought it'd be like 3. Holy shit, 4? Okay.
Oh my quad.
I guess there's not many things with Wind Fairy. Maybe
Wind Fairy deck seems a little far off.
Well, my question is, there is a combo. If you've stuck a minion, you can play Wind Fury on the minion and then play this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Wind Fury is 2 mana. You can 2 mana a minion and then just...
That's super
the
cheap,
finisher.
Dude.
Giving something quad Wind Fury for 10 mana. Now you just need a minion.
Stranglehorn Tiger. No, something like that.
I mean,
yeah, dude.
I was just like, wait a minute.
That reminds me of the old
By
days.
Jove, I think you found a deck.
That's 20 damage.
That's pretty...
I don't know. It needs to be Ravenhold assassin.
Yeah, Ravenhold would finish. 28, right?
Yeah, you could actually get to 25 though, right? Because you'd play 2 Stranglethorn Tigers before the turn 10. Yeah, you need 10 mana, so do it turn 11 instead.
Still more, dude. It doesn't matter. Ravenhold's still 28. So
yeah.
That would be hilarious.
That is something to bear in mind, though. That is
let's keep going.
Shaman combo deck. But Shaman's card draw kind of sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, anything here?
Just a side note, Underbelly Ooze is a patron warrior.
Is this an ooze that doesn't kill a weapon?
Yeah, it's a patron.
Okay, wow. All right.
Keep an eye on patrons, guys. We've had a crazy moment with those cards.
That's an expensive patron, though. That's crazy.
Well, if it was any cheaper, it'd be busted.
I mean,
I'm
even
just saying,
two
it's a 3/5 though.
Yeah, but even two of them might even be worth 7. It's like
could be a win condition in warrior. I don't know, some weird.
Oh yeah, they have that one card that does 1 damage, right? And if it lives, you get something.
And Boom does. Oh no, Boom only does enemies, right? The 1 damage is only 2 enemies.
Okay, yeah, let's keep going here.
I like Tunnel Blaster. I like it as a card. It's
kind
of decent. 3/7 that deals 3 to the minions.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Value-wise, this seems on the like on the.
It's kind of decent. Yeah. If you need to build a deck that is anti-aggro, again, you look at specialist format. Maybe this is a card you run, because it gets there. 7 mana is, I would say, just on the cusp of being early enough against aggro to do something, especially if it ends up being a board wipe.
Dude, this card looks like an insane arena card.
Summon 4/1/1s. Yeah. I don't know arena pass.
I mean, you're getting 5 minions and then a total of 10/8. That's pretty good. Like, okay.
Seems all right.
This is a good demon. Firebat, Portal Overfiend. Shuffle 3 portals when you're drawn. Summon a 2/2 demon with Rush. And I'm guessing you draw another card as well, though.
Wait,
like it's a 5/2 though. It dies to a 1-drop.
What?
Are we talking about the portal?
6 mana, 5/6.
Right here.
Portal Overlord.
Oh, Portal Overlord.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So wait, what are the portals again? So there's
just a 2/2 demon, I guess.
Yeah, 2/2 demon with Rush.
It's like the way the book comes up, but then casts a random spell. This portal will summon a 2/2 demon.
I was thinking like portals.
It's not bad as a battle cry, is it? Honestly, it's actually not too shabby.
It's okay. I mean, it's no Faldori Strider, I'll tell you that much. Because that's kind of the card with the same effect, right? It's a 4-mana 4/4. It shuffles 3 4/4s. But they do have Rush, which can be kind of interesting. But
I'm not sure what I would. Yeah,
I'm not
sure what to
super
use
excited about it, if I'm honest with you. It's kind of okay.
Look, I'm trying to find your big demons, okay, Firebat? I'm doing my best.
All right, what about Safeguard? Safeguard, by far the best theme artwork. Like, by far. Like, the fact that he is an actual safe, that's an actual guard, too, and what he does, I mean, that is like, brilliant, whoever came up with that. But, as a card itself, what do you think?
It's a card you can stick Ziliax on, and its Death Rattle is another card you can stick Ziliax on, so it exists.
You might pick it off Stonehill Defender.
No, you won't, because it's gone.
Oh, shoot.
You get it off Dr. Boom, because it's a mech.
Yeah. You might get it off Dr. Boom, sure.
Unseen Saboteur, do you actually think that's going to take a lot of play, Firebat?
Your opponent casts a spell in their hand.
I mean, specialist format's a thing, so if combo decks start becoming prevalent, sure. It's nice to have it as an option, but it seems
I'd be surprised.
pretty bad most of the time. I don't know. You could use it in a control deck, you think, to just like kill their own board.
I'm kind of wondering as well, when you look at, say, if you're an aggro deck and you have a board of stuff, you can attack with everything. It's small, and then you might make a warrior shield slam, or a mage fireball, just a 2-1 or something. You know what I mean? Like, because the
counter argument: if I'm an aggro deck and my board's stuck, I'm not going to play a 6-mana 5/6. I'm going to play something that buffs my board and kills them, because killing them is a lot better than making them shield slam something silly.
Is it though, Firebat?
Well,
yes.
This card's terrible against aggro too. Just for the most part.
Yeah. So. It's definitely a tech card, right?
It's a tech card. You're only going to see it play as tech.
If you cause your opponent to cast a spell, and the spell is like generate 3 minions, he gets the minions, right? Or do we get the minions?
Yes, he gets the minions.
He gets the minions. I think you can see it in fatigue scenarios, because as in a warrior mirror, you don't want to cast shield block.
Yeah.
Bam, play this guy, they draw a card.
Yeah.
It would be funny with like UI, but in wild or whatever. Play this, make someone UI in a fatigue battle. Draw 5 cards and die.
That's just like Mage has played Antonidas, but he's on 6 health, but he's got fireballs in hand. You make them fireball their own face from lethal. That's the sweetest one.
Crazy sideboard card. I mean, obviously.
Violet Warden, I think, is really good.
Oh, really?
It's a 6-mana 4/7 with taunt and gives spell damage. It just seems like it's got a lot of utility and might find its way into things.
Right. Isn't that just strictly better than that other? Isn't there a 6-mana 4/7 +1 spell damage, dude? The Archmage?
Yeah, without taunt.
Yeah, without taunt. So
that card's like almost good. So I think taunt's just enough to make it playable.
It's good stat line.
Oh, we skipped this one. This is the card I was talking about earlier. Fill each player with 1/1 Nymph. How bad is that? How good is that?
Pretty all right. If you have let's say you have 1 minion or 2 minions in play that can attack, and then you play this, and then you can attack them into something and have them die, and then you just play 2 sea giants. There seems to be a lot of sea giants.
They showed the combo because there's the 3-mana Warlock card that
you can play
which plus attack and deal 1 to the enemy board, right? Yeah. So it wipes the enemy's imps and yours get better.
It would buff on the turn you summon these, so you wouldn't be able to attack with it quite yet.
Yeah, no, I think that's less good.
It's just because they deal with the enemy imps, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you also then just have a bunch of 2/1s that are vulnerable to everything. Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a lot of applications for the things that cheat out giant clumps of stats with this card. So,
yeah.
Most importantly, Recurring Villain has the best artwork of the set, and that's just a fact.
Recurring Villain?
Scroll down a little bit, next row on your left.
What?
Look at him with that mustache. I love it.
That's like a gold, like a Sherlock Holmes kobold or something. Right. What's this barista? Add a copy of each of your other. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Seems bad, yeah.
One note: Archmage Vargoth is a card we're getting early, so we get to play with this, I think, soon. Everyone gets given a copy, I believe, and that's just kind of an interesting card. I don't know when.
Is that crazy with Mage and all the cheap spells they can do?
Maybe that just gets good when you're looking at stuff like you're playing stuff like Arcane Missiles and the 1-mana create a mage spell. I mean, that guy's just not bad actually.
He's just pretty good in general. Yeah, you just play him on turn 4 if you're ahead on board. He usually sticks, and then you play anything on turn 5, and you get double spell for it, and you start snowballing.
Nice. Pretty nice.
Because it's not just once. He sticks around and keeps doing that effect. So they have to kill this 2/6.
Exactly. That's crazy. Actually, it's a 6 is not an easy thing to remove at on turn 4. You know, like even turn
Seems
5.
nutty.
Yeah.
It's very good with buff cards too, like tokeny druid buff things. So you like control the board and then you buff your entire board. And so that makes it harder to remove this. And then he buffs himself again. So he's even harder to remove.
Dude,
and
so
your whole board.
Soul the Forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Starts
Soul of
getting
the
nutty.
Forest. Any of the
also,
priests
I
buffs, too.
wonder. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Yeah. Hecklebot, this is definitely another sideboard card.
I think it might be a main deck card actually.
Main deck.
Because,
wow. All right.
Well, it's a 4-mana 3/8 taunt. So let's say you're playing against one of those Murloc decks or the Secret Paladin deck that we were kind of looking at, and then you just play this. It's going to summon like a 1 or a 2 drop from their deck, some garbage, and then you have a 3/8 taunt, and you're threatening to Zilliax it, to War Gear it. You know, any sort of magnetic synergy on this thing gets pretty crazy. So it really
we just talked about
slows people
6,
down, I think.
8. Oh my god. How do you remove an 8 health minion on 4?
I'm going to be playing my
Holy
aggro decks, and this is the
crap.
face I'm going to see in my nightmares. This little face.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh my god. All right, keep going.
What do you guys think of Proud Defender as they were drawing comparisons to Tar Creeper?
+2 while you have no other minions. Oh,
Well, way worse than Tar Creeper. You use Tar Creeper to protect
way
your other
worse.
minions to go
It's way worse
face.
than Tar Creeper.
yeah.
But
So
but is it 2/6 that maybe a 4/6 sometimes?
I mean,
It's not bad. It's just I don't think it's crazy good. Or I mean, it's still another 6 health minion. That's pretty good at 4, but it's okay. It's probably it's a good arena card for sure.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh, just because they just compared it a little bit to the style of Tar Creeper. That's all.
Mhm.
I think it's probably just too situational, right? Maybe it's good in.
It costs more. That's the
Maybe it's
biggest
good
thing.
in. I wonder if it's just ever good if there's ever like a mid-range style of Paladin at some point, just because you can buff it as well.
Tar Creeper was great because it was 3 mana. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
3 mana is nice.
yeah, amazing defense like 3 mana. Hench Clan Hag. Oh yeah, we
Let's
saw this
play
on
it on
stream. We saw this one on stream. I mean, it can work with Murloc. I mean, the amalgams, right? They're any kind of tribe.
Beast, demon.
Yeah, they're anything.
So.
So
Mech.
there's got to be something there.
It seems good, yeah. It's 4 mana
Mhm.
and then 5/5 worth of stats amongst bodies with tribes so that you can buff all of them. So
Yeah.
seems like it's doing a lot of stuff for its mana cost. So I think it's just probably a good card that'll find a place in any sort of tribal synergy deck.
Yeah.
I like the style of Violet Spell Sword. I'm not sure if it's ever even remotely good enough, but it's definitely pretty cool. Like an X6 card.
Which one is
If you look
this?
at it,
Oh, a 4 mana
if
one.
there's anything that's spell heavy, I don't know. It's cool.
Plus 1 attack. Oh yeah, this is okay. Yeah, this is again one of those that you get value
So-
for casting spells.
You need 3 spells in your hand to make it good.
That's a lot.
Well,
That's
I'm just
quite a
wondering
bit.
with like like twin spells and all the discover a spell, create a spell, whatever in say Mage, for example. Could it ever good enough? But I just think the other Mage styles might just be.
Arcane Watcher.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize this card existed.
This was in the Silence Priest
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is one of the cards that might be able to make Silence Priest a thing because it fits on curve really well too.
Wow, 5, 6, 3. Oh my god.
Because there's the if you scroll down as well, there's the Dalaran Librarian, which activates the deck really, the 2-drop.
Yeah, 2 mana, 2/3 silence adjacent minions.
Faceless Rager. Is there a high 2 mana health?
Yeah, the 0/6.
Worth it. Totally
You asked?
worth.
I
Totally
answered the
worth.
question. You laughed at
Yeah,
me.
you,
My answer
you
was
did answer
perfectly
the question.
reasonable.
Thank you for answering the question. Oh my god. Okay.
I love the
This
0/6 design. Don't get me started.
I mean, this is
Okay.
probably more of a arena card, but that's kind of interesting. I like the design of that card. Here's a magic carpet. After you play 1 cost minion, give it a +1 attack and rush.
Yeah,
1/6.
it's pretty terrible probably because you have to actually play the cards. If it was summon, it would have so much more possibilities and be really interesting. But I think
if
just
it was summon, I think you just play this in Hunter with Unleash. Screw the rush. Just get +1 attack on all you do.
well, if that was true, you'd play Raid Leader, right? But I guess it is a 1/6, just a lot more stats.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Arcane Servants, just something to take note of because it's a reasonable 2-drop elemental. just in case elemental decks exist.
All the elementals rotated though.
There's still some.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
All right.
Some Mage ones.
Let's see.
Mana Reservoir is a sweet design, and I wish there were more cards like it. Kind of like Carpet, I guess.
Oh, that's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
It's just cool because it's like it's a 2-drop that isn't really going to die, that serves a purpose that isn't to just attack things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just a cool idea. I'm not saying it's good, but I like the design of this is something I'm going to put on the board that generates power in a different way than its attack. That's all.
A traditional good card is Hench Clan Hogsteed.
Yeah,
that card's pretty nut because you get the Beast synergy, you get the Murloc synergy, and you get to kill something and you leave something behind. So it's like Argent Horse Rider kind of, which was a 3-mana 2/1, kill something, leave behind a 2/1. There's 2 mana, so it's even faster, and it's kill something, leave a 1/1 behind. So it's pretty crazy.
I feel like there's a third character that's missing from that picture. It's a Murloc, it's a boar, and what else would go there normally? It's got to be
Pirate.
A pirate? You think pirate? Okay.
Yeah, the pirate's got to get involved, right?
Yeah.
They'd have all 3.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Here's a question, right, about, say, the Spellbook Binder. The battle cry, if you have spell damage, draw a card. Does that just mean if any minion on your board has spell damage? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Well,
that-
if you're
is that how you guys
receiving
read
spell
it?
damage, yeah, if you're receiving spell damage.
If you have spell damage, draw a card.
It's just like a weird phrasing, right?
Well,
because you do not
You
don't have spell damage. Like
You can with the weapon, right?
Sure.
The hunter weapon could give you spell power, so then
yeah.
it probably worded like that, so it works with that card.
I just
Wow,
I just
that's
glanced
a
at it and
great
was
card
like,
then,
what do
if
you
that's
mean if I have spell damage? Normally my minions have spell damage. But yeah.
But yeah, 2 mana 3/2 draw a card seems good. Spell damage is got actually quite a bit of support. There's some decent spell damage minions.
Mana Reservoir. 0/6 for 2.
Yeah,
maybe.
that card, man.
It might not be horrible because you play that and
it
then you
doesn't
can
die.
Sorcerer's Apprentice kill stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it in
For
the
Mage,
spring,
it's-
right?
yeah, for Mage, it's definitely something.
And also, they can use that evocation to make it 0 mana because it's an elemental. Boom. Easy.
Yeah, I know.
3/2 draw a card is a great card.
Yes,
That's a great
but
card. That's
spell
not a-
damage is like one of the hardest tribes
Yeah.
to get things on the board with because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, true. Okay, and then Toxfin here. This is the
Yes.
crazy
Yeah.
Murloc card. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's like the best Murloc ever. It's pretty nutty.
Wow, that's saying a lot. Best Murloc ever. That's I can't really argue against that.
It allows Murlocs to do things you normally have to put tech cards in your deck for, basically. And this is the big thing, right? You either run Hex in the Murloc Shaman or this guy. It's like,
Well, you before had to wait until Megasaur at 4 to maybe
Right.
get something like this. Now you can get it on turn 2 if you wanted, or 3 or whatever. It's crazy.
and there's the Sunreaver Spy that Firebat was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That is going to be the bane
Yes.
of people's existence, in my
3/4.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like, that is
Totem Golem's back.
With the secret
Ooh.
defending it too. which is
It reses
nuts.
itself, or it gains Divine Shield, or it gains
God.
2 health, or someone dives in the way. It's like, it just doesn't
that's
die.
nuts. That thing will
It's
just
like
doesn't die.
most decks that exist are going to like most of the decks that you can probably build are going to lose to the curve of secret into this. I think that's going to very limit what decks are available because your deck has to be able to beat that because that's a real deck.
Anti-secret? Do we have any? We don't have any Eater of Secrets or anything anymore, do we?
We have the guy that flares away all the secrets.
Oh,
yeah, the
Yeah,
4/6,
policeman.
the policeman guy,
Oh,
yeah,
policeman.
inspector or
Switchboard,
something.
yeah.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be played.
Inspector, dude.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee
But-
that'll be sideboard somewhere. That's
Still, that guy costs 5, and like the damage gets done by the 3/4 beating you up. Like that, it's about the turns before that. The secrets are just enabling huge clumps of stats, so it's not
that's a good
really
point.
about the secrets. Like against Hunter, it's more about the secrets and removing the secrets.
Yeah.
Against Paladin, the secrets are 1 mana investments. Like removing them is not what's going to stop the deck. So I don't even think that tech is particularly good versus like it's okay.
Mhm.
I don't think it's going to be super strong versus Secret Paladin. Not like Mysterious Challenger when their whole bit was they played all 6 secrets at once. This is just going to be incremental pressure that's stronger than what other decks can do.
I literally don't know cards that beat that.
No, you just don't
There's
beat
no
that
single,
curve.
there's not a
Looking
single
through the-
answer. There's
looking
no
through the
single answer to
collection.
it. That's for sure.
Okay, what would beat it was a turn 1 elemental into Scorch. There you go.
Turn one
So-
element into score.
Scorch is 4 mana, deal 4 to a minion. It costs 1 if you played an elemental last turn.
Oh my god. Oh, you're talking about the spell. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, the spell, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
yep,
weird.
that's all I can find that really kills me.
No, the Vendetta spell too is free, right? For 4. That one.
If you
oh,
have
you
a
have Pilfer.
lack-
Yeah.
is it if
Pilfer,
you have
just
your
said
lackey?
Pilfer. Yeah, if you play Pilfer first, you can Vendetta that guy the next turn.
Oh my god.
That's
That is
crazy.
honestly, Secret Paladin's just going to destroy everyone.
Yeah, I think Secret Paladin's going to be crazy strong. Oh, Potion Vendor, is this restoring health to all friendly characters? Anything
It
here?
seems good. It's
Yeah.
quite powerful. I mean, Circle of Healing is a card we've seen have play before,
Yeah.
and this is Circle of Healing, but only to your guys, so you can take some sweet value trades. Doesn't seem like a great card, but doesn't seem like a bad card. Might find a home somewhere.
New priest.
It heals your face too, namely, so that's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we got through them. Is that all the cards? Everyone in this? I feel like there's still. Did they reveal
It's not
all
all the cards. It's not all the cards in the set. It's all the revealed cards.
Yeah,
right?
so they're still gonna. They eventually showed them all to us, right?
Right. This I thought they dumped them all.
Did they?
I
dump
think
them?
this was all of them, right?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
no,
is this
no
all
more
of them?
reveals.
Okay. I
No
felt
more
like there was just
reveals.
not as many. Yeah, not as many neutrals for whatever reason, but.
It's probably because if you just go on just the shadows button at the top, it split them by class, but then you can see all the. I don't know if they've updated it all yet, but there's. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like a lot.
Well, we
but
got
maybe-
through it, man. We definitely made some pretty good time going through all of the cards. So, I think we'll just take one question and we'll call it a day. So one question from Ahmed here for Q&A. He asks, let's see, what did he ask? Shoot, I thought I had it. Uh-oh. I don't think maybe I still have it here. I believe it was, what is your favorite tournament? I'm not sure if it was all time. Let me see. Let me just make sure. But it's definitely was your favorite tournament, because his favorite tournament was Trinity Series. I remember seeing that.
Trinity Series was a cool tournament. The production was super funny. With all the jokes and stuff that they did at like half times and stuff.
When you let Doug loose on production.
Yeah, the best was was it Trinity Series that Admirable did the freaking
Talk
God
for
thing,
3
or the
minutes
talk
on there.
that talk 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it was. Okay, yeah. What was your favorite Hearthstone tournament and why? Mine was the Trinity Series at team. It had the team mic format and the most entertaining to watch just after expansion, and it was fresh meta. Okay, yeah. So favorite event. There's not many to choose from, at least recently. I mean, if we're talking historic. I don't think we're talking historic. We're probably talking about most recent.
It's kind of tough.
My most recent favorite event would probably be WSOE, because
Yeah.
it was pretty recent. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But probably all time, maybe World Championship 2014.
Wow, really? Really? No?
I had some good results
Oh,
there.
wow, I'm
And
surprised
then
it's that one.
my favorite, that's kind of far back, but not too far back, because like 2014 is really far away. Probably Batstone. I don't know. The organizer of that did a really good job setting things up.
I see a theme here, like with all your favorite events.
I think outside of like world championships, because like the world championships are always special, right? They're always nutty and it's always a big deal.
Yeah.
But outside of that, because that's more of a work thing, I actually think like the seat stories of old were pretty hype, because at the end of the day, it was kind of less about competitive, who's the best player here in this tournament, more just about, everyone who doesn't see each other that much gets to all come together, hang out, joke around, play some Hearthstone, and mainly have a good time. And like that was, I genuinely hope that Seat Story comes back this year. Because one, I think the specialist format is just different enough. Rotation seems cool, but just having everyone hang out together was a lot of fun, especially when you see people you don't see that often. It's always cool.
Yeah, I would say it's something similar to that. I think Seed Story's always been consistently just a lot of fun, and it's kind of a mixture of competitive and just like the memes and fun element to the community. And all time, man, there's been so many events, dude. I have a hard time. Oh God, it really just depends on how you look at it. Competitive events, definitely the It was the one after 2015, I think BlizzCon was like super good. The one with Tice and Osaka, that match, whenever that.
I liked
was.
all the ones without Firebat personally.
That's so brutal. Oh man. And yeah, so something like that. Maybe the Archon went a long time ago. I don't know. Something like that. I'd have to think really hard. I'm not sure, but lots of great ones, and I think I agree with a lot of these guys with theirs. But that's gonna be it, guys, this week. You know, the expansion is in how many days? Is it the 9th, right? It's April 9th. So 6 days, next Tuesday. Make sure you buy all your your pre-expansion deals, or get the pre-expansion deal where you can get the skins. And there's an $80 one, there's a $50 one. I'd recommend the $80 one just because it's the best deal. So be sure to get that before time expires and you can't get it anymore. And there's a theory crafting session thing that Blizzard's doing with I think 8 streamers. Firebat, you're not in that, right? Yeah, I don't think you're in that, right?
I am not on the theory crafting.
Okay.
There's actually, I believe there's actually going to be more. They're just not announced yet because that's
really?
Team America. I believe there's going to be Europe one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to let you know. Because they've not announced the Europe one for some reason. Don't we know why?
Okay. Well, tune into that. It's so funny because I tweeted yesterday whether these theory craft, just kind of seeing if everybody, what everybody felt, because I personally feel one way, but just to see if people like these theory crafting type of streams, pre-expansion, and because for me, I feel like it takes away from the actual launch day. Like the hype level is like, I don't think we peak very high, but instead we have this like period of 2, 3, 4 weeks of just like lots of discussion and some a lot of interest, but just not crazy high like we used to long time ago whenever expansions come out. But it sounds like everybody likes that. It seems like everybody likes to know what to play on day one. And I don't know, I'm the opposite.
Like I'm 2 hours before the release window. Okay, we'll sit down, watch what these guys play for a little bit, and then boom, it goes live a couple of hours later when you play. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be watching it mainly because I just should for my job more than.
Oh no! I mean, I think I'll watch. I mean, I'm not really saying that. I'm not going to watch the stream tomorrow.
I'm worried that they're going to define what the meta looks like in minute 1 of the ladder.
That's what I mean. And then once the expansion comes out, then we've already eaten into that honeymoon period. It's like the honeymoon period's almost gone. After one day. Because we've been thinking about it for weeks now. So that's the thing I worry about with that. They're going to actually get a chance to play with the expansion. They'll be playing full out with the expansion and stuff like that. So it won't be just like talking about it and putting decks together. It'll actually be testing stuff out, which will be so it's definitely another level of net just this pre-expansion type of thing. But yeah,
I wonder if that's why no one that's qualified to Worlds is there. Because it's unfair advantage. They get more time with the cards to play before Worlds.
It's not that much. Oh, actually 6 days is a lot. Yeah, that's true. But okay. Well, anyways, let's wrap up. Raven. Yeah, Raven and Firebat, thanks for being on the show. It was great. Amazing as always, getting a chance to review these cards. Y'all's insight is always amazing. And, I know a lot of the viewers and listeners appreciate it. So, yeah, thanks for coming on. Any shout outs you want to do before we take off? Raven, let's start, or we'll go in order. First. We'll go Raven first, and we'll go Firebat. Then.
Oh, going me first.
Yeah.
No, just the usual. Follow me and all that. But I'm not going to be streaming for a few days. Basically taking a few days off before the shenanigans begin. I'm going to plan on trying to organize a squad stream. I don't know if you guys know about that.
Yeah.
But you basically can watch 4 streams at the same time and share a chat. So I'm trying to sort out some kind of squad stream for the Hearthstone launch. So yeah, nice. By all means, swing by. I think it'll be a lot of fun with the people I'm trying to get on. But yeah.
Is there a limit to squads? Like how many people?
I think it's 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's because this you have to see like 2 and 2 on the Twitch viewer. But yeah, it's pretty fun. Should be good.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
Look forward to that. Firebat, how about you?
All right, thanks for having me on the show. It's always fun to talk about things and stuff, and just generally really excited about the new cards. Planning on playing a whole lot of Hearthstone.
Yep, definitely looking forward to watching some of it too, of course. And you can check out obviously his stream and both of their streams. It's just Ray. What was it again?
Raven HS.
Raven HS, and then just Firebat, right? Twitch.tv.
Yeah, I'm just Firebat on everything.
Yeah, nice.
Word of advice.
Nice.
Don't pick a animal as a name. You will never get the ID on any website that ever exists ever.
Well, just add fire to it, and you'd probably be fine, because that's what I did. Firebat, and I got the name everywhere. It should have been Fire Raven.
Fire Raven, I think that's pretty unique.
When I go full Firebat groupie one day, I'm retired from casting, I will become Fire
like
Raven,
a team,
and I will be his #1 mod. There you go. So when I'm old and retired, so like next year or something.
That's hilarious. Okay, well, I just want to thank you guys for doing that, and everybody for watching. You can follow the show at ValueTownGG. You can follow myself at ChanmanV. And find the show on YouTube, youtube.com/ChanmanV, and all the audio channels. So iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and SoundCloud.com/ChanmanV. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week. So for Raven, Firebat, myself, ChanmanV, enjoy the expansion.
Yeah, it just ended.